It was like it was over already. Hello, I'm Jay, and I talk about Auburn basketball and Auburn football full time here on the YouTube. Thank you for joining me again today as we watch Auburn take on the Rebels of University of Mississippi. Some people refer to it as Ole Miss. And there he is, Neil J. My man, what up, guys? Another beautiful. This is literally the most picture-perfect day in my geographic zone. Neil is not there, but most of you guys are. Raven's a little south of me. It's like 65, 68 degrees, sunny, beautiful. And it is time for the Auburn Tigers to take on the Ole Miss Rebels, a game that I've been looking forward to because I know what Ole Miss is capable of, and you know what the Auburn Tigers are capable of, and this is going to be a showdown. I think it's going to be a damn good game is what I'm thinking. Anyway, we got some good stuff going on here. Neil J says, what is that accent supposed to be? You know exactly what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like drunk JG in the ool. Trying to sound cool like you, but I don't. I'm not even close. We did get a super chat from a pillar of the community, Raven, who I mentioned earlier. It says, Bruce and the boys going to get this W, and then we're going to get JG Ole Miss drunk. Give him a laugh on that one. Speaking of getting Ole Miss drunk, I do have a fresh new bottle here of the double barrel 5-year, unopened. We're going to crack this bad boy open today as we watch this fine outing. Thomas K with us again. Glad to have you here, G. So glad that you're watching these games with us now. I feel like you're kind of new to the channel, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm sorry if I missed that. My intern probably should have. Yeah, you should probably get some of that stuff right. You're in charge of that kind of stuff. You're what I call an emissary, a brand emissary. I need one. All right, so the situation is this. Auburn is supposed to tip at 1 o'clock Central. It's currently not going to tip off at 1 o'clock Central because this Florida-Tennessee game is going a little bit long. I am surprised that the Florida Gators are getting crushed the way that they are. Now, I have a lot of respect for Tennessee. You guys have a lot of respect for Tennessee. But, I mean, they did come into the game 4-4 in conference play, and there were some questions about, hey, man, they lost to Auburn. They lost to Kentucky at home. Like, what or can they really do? They're still a good basketball team, and they still have one of the 4 best defenses in college basketball, including Tennessee, Auburn, Iowa State, and Houston are the really, really good teams. And I think defense matters super a lot. Is that even good? Can we say that? We just said it. When it comes to results in March and April. So that's kind of what I'm keeping an eye on. T-Park coming in, one of the pillars of the community from the greater Atlanta area. It says, nice little Saturday for Rebel Beatdown, LFG, JGT. Man, that's the right attitude. You know, I've got a little bit of a history with Rebel Grove over there. I used to spend a lot of time over there. I used to do a podcast with the publisher over there, but he doesn't like me anymore, and so I haven't heard from him in more than 2 years now. Just disappeared from my life. He doesn't like me. But you know what? I like me, and my wife and my dog still like me. I'm going to drink out of this glass that Chip made for me, and he likes me. Let's see what we got there. A 5-year barrel, inoffensive, light front, decent hug. Courtney won't think it's enough. Light. It's only 100 proof. That's a good bourbon. To me, it tastes like a lighter Russell's Reserve 10. But it's great because it's only 5. The problem is that this costs probably more than Russell's Reserve. But I bought this off of a website called sharedpour.com. Not P-O-O-R, but P-O-U-R. That's funny. Neil J jumps in with a super chat as well. Says, thinking of a master plan. He's talking about some Eric B. and Rakim with that one right there. What is that? I know the song. Can't think of the name of it, man. But Eric B. and Rakim, absolutely amazing. What else? Carter B. is back with us. We love Carter B. It can be a little real, a little too real for us sometimes. We love having him here. We like the symphony of voices. We don't want any of that kind of stuff where it's all the same all the time. We don't like that. Like to have a diversity of opinion. That's what I'm looking for. I'm going to move over to our main page here. Even though it says 1 o'clock, and this Florida-Tennessee game is just absolutely dragging. Guys, let's get this thing over with. It's a 16-point game. I mean, come on. Paid in full. Thank you, Neil J. Paid in full. How can I forget that? Peace. Super underrated group, by the way. When we think about, like, rap pioneers, we often think about, I mean, obviously people want to say Sugar Hill Gang, but you talk more about Run DMC, LL Cool J, Ice-T, then you get into, like, NWA, and I think Eric B. and Rakim belong in that conversation. Public Enemy. I would even argue that Q-Tip and those guys, Five Dog, belong in that conversation. For sure, we also got one coming in from Cleveland Brown, who's an absolute stud. He says, stay hydrated, JG. Beat Ole Piss. I plan to stay hydrated, sir. I've got a body armor with me today. Tropical Punch, by the way. You can buy these at Walmart's. I've also got water over here, so we're going to make it work. Cleveland Brown, thank you for reminding me and for everyone that if you're going to drink, you need to stay hydrated. Ballers hydrate. We know this. Cuz across the street, we have proven this. That's Dr. Cuz to me and you. And we will do that. GW says, Pete Carroll has named Jamarcus Russell to come out of retirement and start for the Raiders in 2025. Boo this man. I am tired of his disparaging comments about the Raiders. It pisses me off. Not really. A Tribe Called Quest is what Darkside says. That is correct. I like Tribe. A whole lot, man. I bust a Louis onto a lane called Lyric is a phrase that I use a lot when I'm driving. From the Theory record. Who am I missing on the all-time greats to get rap going? I feel like I missed somebody. There was a trivia question when we did trivia on Tuesday. I know I'm just talking about this because, this game's starting on ESPN News. All right, we only got 26 seconds left, so we'll get to that ASAP. But the trivia question was, who was the first rap artist to win a Grammy for Best Rap Performance? And I missed it. I guessed it was LL Cool J, and I was thinking they would have done this in like 85 or 86. Because, like, you might have had Radio, and you might have had Bigger and Deffer. One of those two I thought would have hit it. Do you know what the answer is? I'll wait. You guys can't look it up, though, but it's a lame answer. It is not someone who deserves to be considered all that great. Cleveland Brown says PE will be playing at the River Beat Festival in Memphis in May. Oh, my God. I would consider going to that. Yes. Are you going to go, Cleveland Brown? That sounds like fun to me. Is it like Chuck D and Flavor Flav and like Terminator X and all that? Is it all that? Because that'd be amazeballs if they're actually back and it's real. You know, we're playing like Welcome to the Terror Dome and shit. My home is your home. But welcome to the Terror Dome. Get on down. Yeah. Yep. Get on down. You can also say, I got a letter from the government the other day. I opened and read it. It said they were suckers. They wanted me for the army or whatever. Picture me giving a damn. I said, never. All right, so we're starting off here. Ole Miss takes a 3 from somebody that Auburn was fine with taking a 3, and then Janai gets the D rebound. So we're going to roll with our regular 5 here with Denver playing point. We've been talking a little bit about Denver and Tahad and kind of the division of labor there. Whoa, Chad Baker-Mazara with a uncharacteristically awful pass for an alley-oop. Cleveland, thank you, bro. Please do email me that. That's something I'm interested in very much. So Matt reminds us gently to tap the like button. You can smash it if you would like. The answer, Dark Side, is correct. It is Will Smith, who won the first ever Grammy for rap performance. I'm sure it was like Parents Don't Understand or whatever, which is just like, oh, come on, man. There's better. Dark Side jumps in after winning that question, a little piece of trivia, with a super chat that says Will Smith. You were correct. Disappointing in a way. All right, so what a weird pass from Chad on the first possession, but it was the right idea. He had somebody open. It was just a bad execution. He's wide open. He's got the whole half of the court to himself, and you know what he did? Splash. He splashed one from downtown, and Auburn goes up 3-0. So 2 possessions for Auburn and then 3 points. That's pretty good. If you can keep that up, that could be potentially 160 points if they do what they did the other night. Wait, hold on. It wouldn't be that much. It would be 140. No, 120. Still be a lot of points, though. I want to know about that festival of Cleveland Brown. I'm looking forward to hearing about this. Because, I mean, if it's PE, there's going to be something else. Like, it's not just going to be PE by himself. Like, they're going to have other acts, and maybe it's something good. Daniel P. with us says, good afternoon, trainers and JG. Glad to have you, bro. And Cassidy P. says, Pat, officiating. I'm using the proper English on that, officiating. Let me pull this up real quick and see who is officiating. By the way, Ole Miss did get a point there, which I have not given them credit for yet, but I will, I promise. We got a kickball reset. Your officials are Sir Patrick Adams, Courtney Green, and Patrick Evans. So you've got two Patricks, but only one Pat. Here comes Pat. We had to get that little soundbite for every time he makes some stupid-ass call from, like, SNL. Oh, Miles Simon from a mile and a half. From Pontotoc. Oh, man, he hit that one deep. And Auburn's got a 6 on the board already. Ole Miss got a 1. I told you I would give him that 1, even though I don't want to. All right, wide open from the elbow. There was a nice little mid-level screen there. I like that. I haven't seen that lately against Auburn, but it was a nice play. I like that. Auburn kind of got caught up in the trash on that one, and he was wide open. He seemed a little not confident taking the shot, but he splashed it. All right, so they're going to double team now. Dylan had a great slide right there. He was wide open on the block. They didn't quite see him. Denver got a little ahead of himself and turned the ball over. BP not going to like that. What a great finish by Ole Miss on the drive there. Wow. Very, very high off the glass and put it in. Denver personally responsible for that screw up. I'm kind of getting to the point. There's another turnover by Denver. A lazy pass that he assumed was going to be there. Very frustrating. Very frustrating. Got a super chat coming through from Stu Pup, the man himself. Says, I remember we were talking about this. He said he didn't think he was going to be able to make the show today because his kid was competing in a 4-H. He updates us to say, my kid rocked his 4-H speech, and now I'm just waiting for results, hoping to have favorable judges here and favorable refs there. Well, guess what? You don't have favorable refs in this game, which means the statistical likelihood is that you have great officials there. So let's give it up to Stu Pup's son. Auburn being, I think Dylan's going to have some real chances here. It's just a matter of getting the ball to him. I guess they're calling Janai for a travel on that. I love it when you snap at people. That's always something that I like to try with my wife. She loves it when I snap at her. Carter B says Denver may struggle today with their active hands. I think the key... And BP talked about this in his press conference both last week and this week. Ole Miss with another splash. He's just too open for that shot. Auburn a little disorganized mentally right now. I don't say that very often. I mean, they were up 6-1 just a minute ago, so it wasn't exactly a bad start. But we got Tahad in there now at point guard. Let's see if things kind of simmer down. And that was a shitty pass from Tahad. I don't think that even had a prayer of making it to where it wanted to go. They were trying to hit Janai on a little bit of a cross run there. And he was... in football terms, he was bracketed. He had a guy in front and back, and that just wasn't going to happen. I mean, Jared Goff wasn't even going to get that ball in there. Patrick Mahomes wasn't even going to get that ball in there. Spicy P correctly notes that Denver's killing us. He had a very bad start to the game. If you guys remember, he was not good in the game the last game either. They had to do a switch to Tahad before the first media timeout, which is exactly what's happened this time. And I think we all believe and agree that Denver's better suited as a rhythm shooter, not a point guard. So let's see what Tahad can do. Let's see if he can bring the stabilization that he brought in the last game. That's a really nice finish by Ole Miss. Great positioning, great body control. Man, they're playing some great basketball here in the last 2 minutes. Really good. And Auburn's not. All right, they're giving Chad a little space. They're not being too tight on him. Splash. Little step back. I mean, It's a shot that I don't love personally, but if he's going to splash it, I don't hate it. Yeah, I don't like this for number 4. I actually did a good job of shaking and baking Chad. He kind of cut on him twice and got to the hole but couldn't finish. And there's your first media timeout, 10-9. This is not a great segment there for the Auburn Tigers defense. Chris Beard's got to be pretty satisfied and good with the way that's gone so far. Let me pull up some hot, fresh stats, and we'll take a gander, as you guys know, early on, so we don't want to draw too many conclusions. We're not going to use our jump to conclusions, Matt, just yet. But I always like to see how things are going. We are in the stats business, and so we'll do some stats. All right, 3 of 3 from the floor for Auburn, which is kind of weird to think about because you think offensively they haven't been good, but it's been the turnovers. 5 freaking turnovers already. 5 turnovers. Holy cow. 5 turnovers, guys. There were games this season where Auburn didn't have 5 turnovers. And they've got it in the first segment of the game. God, credit to Ole Miss. Let's try to think about these turnovers. Denver had 2. Both of them were the result of pressure, I would argue. Thank you for that, Carter B. Little Office Space reference. Jump to conclusion. Let's see. Patrick P. says, I love that Bruce lets his teams play through rough spots instead of calling timeouts. Now, some people would say that that is a bug. Other people like you and probably me would think that that's actually a good thing. Why am I struggling with that word today? It's not a bug, it's a feature. That's exactly what we would say. Wizard D says, I need to stop the soft passes. That's exactly right. Bo is great. Wants to know anyone if we are still ranked number 1 in Ken Palm. I don't know if that's a sarcastic question, but no, they're not. They're number 2. Ravin says, entry pass into triple coverage. I feel like we've seen this before on the football field when number 1 likes to throw into quad coverage if possible. But he'll settle for triple coverage and then be aghast when it gets picked off. He was doing that again in the Senior Bowl practices. He is really good at giving the ball away. It's too bad that isn't like a thing you could make money from. Because I think he'd have a really great, really bright future in football if that were the case. Good kid, though. So obviously, if we're talking about this game right here, you got to cut the turnovers. I mean, 5 turnovers is ridiculous. You just can't do that. Two for Denver, 1 for Janai. 1 for Chad Bacon Lasagna, and 1 for Tahad. And I don't remember Janai's turnover, but all the other ones were forced by Ole Miss's pressure, so credit to them. Ole Miss, 4 assists and 2 turnovers, which they're probably happy with, and 4 of 6 from the floor. It's not exactly 3 of 3, but they're fine with that percentage too. And 4 points for Ole Miss in the paint versus 0 for the Auburn Tigers is a stat I didn't necessarily expect. Now, Ole Miss does like to work in the paint, but Auburn, as you know, can be absolutely dominating in the paint. So I'd like to see a little bit more emphasis there to work the ball down low. I think Janai really only had 1 possession where he was trying to post somebody up, and he got double teamed, and then he passed out, and they didn't switch it around quickly enough to Dylan. I think that's on Tahad. One thing I like about BP there is, other coaches who get a little hot-headed, and BP's a hothead, but it's kind of a different approach of a hothead. He's not really one that jumps the kid's ass in the moment in a game. He tries to make it a strategic thing for the team to understand, instead of calling a kid a dumbass or whatever. Some coaches obviously will do that. I remember when I used to shoot on the baseline, listening to Will Wade talk to his players, I was like, good God, I'd never let my kid play for him. All right, so Ole Miss is going to double anything that goes below, 8 feet. It's kind of a rushed shot, but oh, shit, Janai, what is that? Is he grabbing his shoulder? I hope that's not that same shoulder from the Georgia State game. He don't look too worried about it, though. Look at Pat Adams over there trying to console him, though. I don't know that dude's name, number 3, but I thought he played his ass off in their game against, I guess, who were they playing the other day? It was Texas. They played inside the pavilion maybe 3 days ago, and he really played hard, man. I was impressed. Spicy Pieces, they're feeling it. Going to be a tough day today, fam. Yeah, it is. First of all, Ole Miss is good. Oh, my goodness, Janai. Damn near airballed a free throw there. It's probably because his shoulder's not feeling great there. You kind of wish it was his right arm. But, all right, got the second one to go. So no harm done, hopefully. I mean, that's certainly one way to try to defend the play is just to swat the shit out of his forearm and then probably pretend like you didn't do anything wrong. But, whatever. There's Clark, the trainer, taking an eye at it. Seeing what's going on. Nice play by Chad to tap that ball out from behind. We talk about this every game. Auburn gets at least 3 or 4 plays from behind every single game. It's usually a block. Good God, Chad just airballed a 3 that he was taking in rhythm, honestly. Great body control there on that pass from Ole Miss across the midline because Miles was ready to take a charge there, and he kind of felt the pressure. Number 5 did for Ole Miss and just stopped in his tracks. Really smart play. It's a well-coached Ole Miss team. Obviously a well-coached Auburn team, too. That's why it's such a fun time to see them go back and forth. Let's see. Spicy Pieces. Bradlaw had a great stat. Janai gets less foul calls than every other big man in the country. That's interesting. He doesn't drive that much is the thing. He's kind of a hook or like layup guy. I don't know. Not even really a layup. It's like I don't know. He has an unusual game for a big man. You know what I mean? It's kind of like old man game. And I'd be curious to see, and I'll look this up right now while you guys are watching the game, but I would like to see how many fouls did like Drew Timme get called against him or for him, however you want to look at it, back when he was in his prime. Like, was he a 200 free throw a year guy? Drew Timme in 2023, when he was 5th in the voting for Player of the Year, he had 244 free throws attempted. Oh, geez. Did we have another plane go down? Was there another plane go down? Or was that the one from Philadelphia? All right, Auburn's defense picked it up a notch there. So that was Drew Timme's senior year, which I think was down a little bit for him. Drew Timme, his junior year, he had 174 free throws when he was playing with Chet Holmgren. It's a nice little move by Denver right there. Now, that's the kind of shit I like to see from Denver. He's not really ball handling so much. He's just kind of operating as a scorer, Janai has 78 free throws attempted this year, and he had 182 last year. So, I mean, it's on par. And the reason I bring up Drew Timme is that, according to Ken Palm and also to our eyes, they have kind of a similar type of game. Spicy Pieces, Denver, the 2 is so much better. Absolutely. He's a scorer. I mean, he's a scorer and a shooter is what he is. And we know he's not a point guard. He knows he's not a point guard. I mean, we're asking him to do things that he's not super comfortable with, but he does it. You know what I mean? It's like asking a second baseman to play short. Like, he's probably going to be a little short with his throws to first base, and you're kind of just having to deal with it, but he's doing it, and he's playing the position. It's supposed to be Pegues. He's supposed to be the solution at point guard, and he's not going to be, and that's just the way it is. And it sucks, and it's an anchor in a way. It's not a bad anchor when you got the number 1 team in the country. Trying again for an alley-oop to Dillon. Couldn't quite get there. Great dish right there for Ole Miss. Couldn't hit the shot, though. Great defensive rebound from Dillon. He's playing some great basketball, I think. Not getting the stats, but doing stuff. A little Chaney action here. Chaney, easy, buddy. Oh. Drop. Dude, that is a really nice shot from Chaney, man. Like a double spin and like a fall away. Holy cow, I didn't even know he had that. All right, so 14 all. Ole Miss's attack has been a little wobbly here in the last 2 minutes. Auburn's defense has been really good. Dillon has given him hell. Forced a terrible shot and got the defensive rebound. So that is another W for Dillon defensively. I think he's had 3 really good defensive possessions. And this is the kind of stuff you can count on with Cap now. He's a much better player. As Spicy P noted earlier, you've got Tahad playing 1 and Denver playing 2 right now. Denver's just going to splash a fucking 3 right there. Yeah, he is. I like this a lot better. Everybody likes this a lot better. Auburn's shooting the basketball decently today, aren't they? Melee says Chaney Artist Gilmore, my man. Let's give him an applause for that. Let's see. Bridget is in the house. Says, Bill's watching, listening to you, Jay. He is smiling when he realizes it's your voice. Where you go, what's up, Bill? Oh, man, I've been aiming to get back down there. I just haven't been able to use the chopper lately. Johnny said he would let me use the chopper to slide down there as soon as I can. But I hope you're feeling better, bro. I heard you are moving up and doing some walking, so that's awesome. That's what I'm talking about. Got to get you back in that Grand Highlander. Rolling down the street. All right, so we've got another media timeout here, which means we need to get some new fresh stats. And I'm the man to do that for you. Just as soon as I figure out what I'm doing. I got all crossways and wobbly jaw on that Drew Timme thing. Just because I think they're very similar players. So if he had been getting like a buttload of free throws, when he was in his peak, I would have been like, ooh, something's up there, but they have similar free throw profiles. All right, hot fresh stats on the way right now. Presented by Krispy Kreme. Just kidding, not really. You haven't approached me yet. I'm shocked. Yabo, what's up? He says, what's up, fam? Weird one so far, yeah. Yeah, Auburn had a little funk there. Like, started really hot, then went into a funk, and now they're playing much better defense and therefore playing much better overall. 6 of 10 from the floor, 5 of 11 for Ole Miss, so that's about a wash. Auburn, remember, was plus 29 in the shots attempted last game. A little bit different story this time. 7 boards to 3. I know Cassidy P is fired up about that. And Auburn had 5 turnovers through the first segment, and then they just added just 1 in the last segment. So they have 6 total, 3 assists and 6 turnovers. To me, is still nowhere near good enough, but better than where it was. Although I've been bitching about this so long now, I feel like it's been 3 weeks, where their assist-to-turnover ratio has been kind of bad for them, and they're still winning, so maybe I'm overrating that. I don't know. Cassidy P does think that 3 to 6 ratio there is not winning ball. It really isn't. And I'm surprised that Auburn's been able to kind of tiptoe their way through it, having these kind of troubles with ball handling. But it seems like the ball handling problems come in little bursts. Like today, where they had 5 assists in that first segment, I wouldn't be surprised if they finish with like 12 for the whole game, right? So that would be 5 in the first 4 minutes, and then they'd spread everything else out. They tend to just kind of get real weirded out. And also you could look at it this way, that with Ole Miss keeping their eyes up so much back toward the bucket, and they were able to pick those passes off, Burgo and maybe Coach Ira call attention to a certain defensive pattern, and you make an adjustment and don't throw certain passes, or maybe you run some different stuff to get away from that. As you know, Auburn is a great team when it comes to strategy, and they very rarely get outfoxed. And I would not expect today to be any different. The thing is that Chris Beard is a great motivator. He's got a better team athletically, and I like their ball club. And Auburn usually has trouble over there. They don't always lose, but they have trouble. Yabo says, I'm here for all of Cassidy P's board pride. Board pride. We have not thought about that, Cassidy P, but that's exactly what it is. He's big on rebounding. And it is true. If you consistently out-rebound your opponent, you're going to it's going to put you in a position to win the ball game. But a terrible assist-to-turnover ratio is just, it will kill you every time. It's like you can be really handsome and have a great outfit on, and your hair's great, but you still have a huge booger in your nose, and you're not going to be able to pull the hot girls. You got to get rid of the booger. I think we've all been there. Maybe you got a little dribble on the front of your pants or something. You got one little thing inhibiting you. You got to get it fixed. They tried another. So Auburn is now 0 for 3 on alley-oops today. And then Cheney was slow getting back. It wasn't really his fault, but as a result of that missed alley-oop, he was slow getting back in transition, and Ole Miss got an easy look but missed it. Chip. What's up, brother? Glad to have you here with us today again. One of the pillars of the community, Chip. That was an absolutely disgusting move by Tahad to get open, and he gave Dylan an opportunity, and he missed it too. God, we're going to have another one of these games where Auburn misses 10 to 12. Just layups. Goodness, gracioses. I want to see what Auburn is doing on layups tonight. They're showing 0 for 1 on layups right now and 0 for 2 on dunks. So that's a pretty bad number. Cassidy P., I don't know if you'd agree. I don't know if you're a mathematician. I know I'm not. But 0 for 3 seems like a low percentage. And I'm with you completely. Wait, what's our deal with missing all these bunnies? What's weird is that, remember in the Georgia game, I think Auburn missed 10 or 11 bunnies, but then Georgia missed 10 or 11, so it wasn't a big deal. And then in the game midweek against LSU, I think they missed 15, Auburn did. And LSU didn't miss quite that many, but missed a lot too. It's almost like it affects both teams. Chris Moore, he's not going to be able to dribble away from that pressure. Now Janai's getting doubled. Gets the pass out. Oh, the pass from Denver was cash money, man. Drop. Nice dish. Went right around somebody's torso and dumped it over to Janai, who put it in the bucket for another 2. It's nicely done. That's Denver just doing his stuff, man. Slashing. They're going to call a foul on Simo trying to provide backside blockout or something. That was defended. That wasn't really a missed opportunity there. I didn't realize it was tipped like that. Yeah, Spicy P loves that passing. I do too. Daniel P notes that 0 of 3 feels really close to 0. That man, this guy must be an engineer. Another one of the great Auburn University graduate engineers. So many of them out there. And I do want to give a shout out to, we have more than a couple. We have a number of people who are members of our site at auburnsports.com who are Auburn engineering graduates who have worked on or worked in Black Hawk helicopters and who are really hurting right now after the tragic crash near Reagan National. And I just want those guys, I've talked to a few of them personally, but I don't know. Keep on doing what you're doing, man. Just keep doing what you're doing. It's appreciated. People make mistakes sometimes, and it doesn't mean that the design was flawed or that your guys' work is doomed or anything like that. It's still very important. Anyway, that's my little thing. I don't know anything about engineering, so just leave it at that. We do have a lot of folks that are in military engineering that deal with helicopters, deal with aviation systems. I did not realize that until 3 or 4 years ago. Cassidy P would like to see a little run here. Yeah, I think we all would. Denver going to the line here has already hit one. They can hit another, and I think he's Auburn's best free throw shooter now that Chad's gotten a little bit away from where he was. Remember, he went 2 of 4 the other night at the line, Chad did, which is surprising. Denver hits them both and gets Auburn up a touchdown, which is really good considering where I thought this game was going. And then Auburn gets outworked in transition right there. And that is a perfect example of what coaches are always telling you, that a pass is always going to be faster than dribbling. Ole Miss got that ball down the court really, really quickly and took advantage of Auburn just not paying attention. You got to be ready. You got to be quick, cowboy. All right, so they have found a way to completely take Janai out of the game with their quick double teams, but there is a price to pay for that. If Auburn could get the passing tempo up, oh, dude, Tahad that guy's gone. That guy's dead. We need to put a tombstone up for headband guy here. He just got absolutely destroyed on that. That's one of those moments that he'll really hope he'll never see that clip again. Boy, what a great pass right there. Dude, Chaney was in great position on that, and it still got through, and they finished. What a great – oh, man, that was great. That's good basketball, man. Boy, that pass is good. See, Janai was, like, so emotive after that. I thought they'd called him for a foul. I was like, he wasn't even on that guy. I think he was just feeling bad for his teammate. Kanuman just gives it a Chaney SMH. I suspect that Kanuman is watching that live from inside the pavilion. And Ravin says that's an NBA caliber floater. It sure was, man. That was just devious, man. Diabolical drive from an Ole Miss perspective, anyway. I mean, to get him just crossed up way out there at about 23 feet, drive in, finish high off the glass. Like, oh, my God. I got to give Auburn credit. They're really rebounding on the offensive end great right now. The effort is there. Not necessarily securing the rebounds right now, but the effort's been amazing. And you can tell they're rebounding with intent. So that's a good thing. And Ole Miss missed just a little bit on that three-point attempt. That guy's shooting is...
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
Maybe next time, G. I happen to like Chris Beard a lot. Janaya, I like that. Yeah, but I haven't seen that before. It seems like he's in just no mood at all. Goodness gracioso. What's up, Bobby Clan? Spicy P, I believe Canoe is probably there, yeah. I don't want to speak for him, though. Just a bit outside. Rest in peace to Bob Uecker, by the way. I don't understand why they were showing an usher right there. That's pretty cool. All right, we've gone to immediate timeout, and you know what that means. We need to pull up some hot, fresh stats. And see if anything. Boy, some interesting numbers here I can see already. Going to get these ready for you. ASAFP. Freaking possible. As soon as freaking possible. That's what that means. Yes. Kill that there. Bring that up there. Look at the shooting. Auburn's still hanging in there. 8 of 15. Not bad. Not bad. They'll take that all day long. 4 of 6 from 3, which is definitely a step forward from some of the games we've seen lately. We were kind of wondering about their three-point shooting. However, on the other side, you got 7 of 17 for Ole Miss. And really, it's still kind of a game of turnovers. Now, I did tell you guys what I say. First segment, 5 turnovers. How many segments have we had since then? 2 full ones, and we only have 6. So they tend to come in flurries, and hopefully you don't see any more. 4 assists and 6 turnovers for Auburn at this point. 6 assists and 5 for them. So I like a lot of the things that Auburn's doing here. In fact, most of the things Auburn is doing here, except I hate the turnovers, but I can't really hate on them too much right now because they've cut them off. It just really hurt when you're up 6-1, and then you go on a 5 turnovers on 7 possessions run, and all of a sudden you're down 4 or whatever they were. It was an absolutely awful situation, but they got it straightened out. And I still think that Tahad, this is the right setting, where you've got Tahad on the ball as the 1, and you've got Denver playing off as a 2, who can also kind of carry the offense as the secondary guy because he knows it and he can run it. But he can slash or he can shoot. He's better like that. The problem with that is then you kind of limit what Miles is going to do. Miles can play 1-2-3, but they usually just play him 2-3. But then you have to have Chad out, so it kind of aces. It affects Miles more, but we haven't really noticed Miles as much today. 6 minutes played though, and hit the 1-3, which is from absolutely downtown. He shot it from probably 27 feet. Oh, my goodness. Daniel Peace is as active as Ole Miss is with their hands. Justin Tucker would probably be a fan. Wow. Too soon, man. Spicy P says, I'm really happy to see our shooting improve. The last couple games were gross. Yeah, much better today. Chip says, wasn't Beard who in 2019 Auburn was going to destroy in the Natty game if not for a rec league refs being allowed to officiate the Final Four? I believe that's correct. I believe he was the head coach at Texas Tech then. And the Auburn Tigers would have faced him. And me and Ben Wolk, who were up there covering that, we absolutely loved Chris Beard, and we used to watch his videos and stuff, and we would have had a great time with that one. But it was not meant to be because the Auburn Tigers ended up losing on a I can't really think of any way to describe it other than an asterisk. It's kind of a shady, disgusting situation at the end. I don't even want to bring it up. Cassidy B says, hey, what year was that when Ole Miss made the Final Four? Trying to remember that guard's name. Oh, yeah. Are you talking about Bryce Drew? Is that what you're talking about? You're talking about Valparaiso? Spicy P says the Texas Tech fan base in Minnesota, which is in the Final Four in 2019, was the most fun group of fans I've ever run across. I did not come across them. We were partying with, God, who were we partying with? Oh, Janai goes in and says, no, sir, we're going to go inside for a deuce right here. Just when Ole Miss thinks they've got that spigot turned off, all of a sudden he's back scoring again. Oh, dude, that's a really nice finish right there for Ole Miss. Come on, man, you got to give it up. That's a nice finish. One hand, go low, go back up. That's nice. You know, I know you guys are like, hey, man, you're an Auburn guy. Stop complimenting them. I like good basketball. I get to watch a lot of it with Auburn playing all the time. Turtle's in the game, by the way. Janai's still playing his balls off on defense, though. The effort's there. The 1-2 is there. All right, so this is a little bit of a probably non-perfect lineup. You do have Janai playing center. You've got, well, no, I guess you got Janai playing 4. With Turtle playing 5, you've got Simo playing wing, and you've got Denver at 1 and Miles at 2. So this is kind of a makeshift little deal here. This is probably their 5th or 6th most common lineup, maybe even lower than that, maybe 7th or 8th. Come on. Oh, the passing tempo's got to be there. Jeez, man. So they got out of the double team, and they had 2 guys wide open, and they just fumbled around a little bit and didn't get the ball out quickly enough. You had a guy open on the wing, which was Simo, and then you had, I think it was Turtle or Janai was wide open under the bucket by themselves and just couldn't get the passing quick enough to get it around the horn. That's something Auburn is usually good at. A spicy piece is the Texas Tech fans in Minnesota were the only fans who knew, not the only fans, but you know what I mean, who knew that Old Town Road was. They were amazing, passing around ace of spades like it was water. Those sound like quality people, man. Small Time Republic says Missouri's looking good. Glad we caught him when we did. Yeah, I remember when Auburn beat their ass, and I was like, oh, they're not very good this year. Guess what? They are pretty good this year. I think Auburn was just really good that night. And, of course, Auburn inside Neville Arena is a problem for anybody. I don't give a shit who you are. Houston, Duke. I think Auburn would hang in there and win against all comers in Neville. Oh, man. I don't mean to harp on this, and I'm going to probably have to cut myself off here, but it's amazing to me how much better coached Ole Miss is than they were 2 or 3 years ago. And I thought Kermit was a good coach, but this is just a good basketball team, man. It's really hard to go on the road in the SEC and beat a good basketball team that's playing good basketball. I mean, I'm just telling you the truth. It is. It didn't used to always be that way. But, yeah, this is going to be a tough one to pull out. Kuhneman, I don't like that call on Janai either. Spicy Pizza. Simo getting absolute minutes today. Everybody loves it when Simo's in there more than about 5, right? Just kidding. So that's going to be 2. Coach Ian Borders watches on, encourages. Coach Marquise Daniels there as well. Daniel P says, we just about peaked against Missouri. It's felt like a struggle off and on since. But the answer is that this league's just a bear, man. But yeah, Auburn, I would say that's their best game of the year. I think the best performance from the Auburn Tigers. Let's see. I'll run through really quick while we're watching this game. Let's see if anything else sticks out. LSU, Tennessee. I was impressed with the Tennessee game, but it was kind of Denver with another turnover. And Ole Miss gets right down in transition. They can't finish, but man, Denver's just not seeing something. Look at their face guarding big time. And he does not do well with pressure like that. It just doesn't do well. But he's got a good matchup right here. Oh. That was a great attempt at a finish because he switched hands and went to try to finish left-handed and actually got a good path to the bucket, but I think he got fouled. I'm still going through these games. Auburn at home against Mississippi State was pretty much aces. And the Missouri game was aces too. So for me, those 2 are the best. But that's still a great point, man. I think you could definitely make the argument that the Missouri game was Auburn's best performance. There's another Simo, I would call it another lazy pass, man. Chaney with a 3 he didn't want to take. Jeez. Oh. Boy, Ole Miss is really hurting them in transition right now. They're not finishing at the rim as well as they would like. But Jamin Brakefield is a bad man. They're getting out in transition and they're just beating Auburn back. I mean, let's call it what it is. Jester also calling it like it is, saying Denver is on the struggle bus today, and he absolutely is. This is just they're going to have to figure something out here. You can't just go to Tahad for 35 minutes. I just don't think that's where you're at. But Denver on the ball right now is just not good. Poppy, I think that he was stuck against the shot clock there. If you're talking about Chaney's 3-point attempt there, obviously not a good shot, but I think that was more of a system problem. And also, I think Miles was going to try to drive that, and he lost his balance and just kind of panically, is that a word? Instinctually just dumped that ball to Chaney to try to avoid the travel, and I think they were out of time. MC Tigger, my man, says Denver been on the struggle bus. It's been weird. He's not been good lately. Another defensive rebound from Dillon on the missed free throw. Let me go ahead and give Ole Miss credit for their 24. And we're back. Tahad with an ambitious 3-point attempt, which was not the shot they were looking for there, I can't imagine, with so much time on the shot clock. And he damn near airballed it, and it went off Auburn out of bounds. So that's a really, really trash possession right there. I don't like it at all. Melee says 35 minutes is just too much for Tahad. Let's start with 34. He's been up to the task, man. I mean, this year, from the very beginning, he's been up to the task. But I just don't love the idea of him just mentally knowing he's got to carry it the whole way. I don't like it. Look at Turtle. That was a great defensive run from Turtle right there, and he got the rebound. All right, so you've got him playing 4 right now for Janai, and I think it's actually good for him. Great defense from Ole Miss there, by the way. Oh, Denver. Now, see? Splash. If you're using Denver as a rhythm shooter, rhythm is going to get you tonight. Bum, 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 bum. Little Gloria Stefan of the Miami Sound Machine. If he's going to be a rhythm shooter, he's going to be dangerous. But if he's going to be an on-the-ball driver, he's going to suck. Oh, man, what a drive from Ole Miss. Are they going to call a charge on that? No, they are not. They're going to call a blah, 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 block. Man, Brakefield comes off the bench for them. He's good, man. I mean, I think Chaney and Tahad are like the gold standard when it comes to 6 men, but, man, Brakefield's right there. Turtle was bitching at Tahad there. He was hoping Tahad was going to be able to cut him off low, but that would have been really deep for Tahad to be defending. I don't know. Jester says Denver should be a 3-and-D guy. I think you're exactly right. I think he's a good on-ball defender, and he's a great rhythm shooter, whether it's mid-range or 3. He's really good at that. But that's just kind of... Cassidy P notes it's a rough switch if Tahad's going to be on breakfield. You're giving up a lot of length on that, right? You're giving up a lot of length on that one. I mean, Tahad's a spirited defender too, and I think he's gotten better, but that's a tough ask. Good point there. That's why I always say Cassidy P, one of the great chatters, not only in the brain drain world, but in the college basketball live streaming world. He's a 2-time nominee for National Commenter of the Year, so, I mean, proof's in the pudding. All right, we got some hot, fresh stats coming up right now. Let's get this set up so it's nice and legible for everybody. Denver, interestingly, 10 points, and we kind of think he's playing like ass. The reason we think he's playing like ass, he has 3 turnovers. Auburn, as I mentioned, and as I kind of foreshadowed, have cut the turnovers down. Now, Denver just had that one in the last segment, but recall they had 5 in the first segment. We're about to go to halftime here, and they're at 7, so they've definitely eased back on that. 6 assists and 7 turnovers, while not great, is definitely a turnaround for the way things were going. 11 of 23 from the floor is pretty dang good. Generally, they're happy with that. 10 of 22 for Ole Miss, they're probably happy with that. 5 of 11 from 3 for the Auburn Tigers, not bad at all. 3 of 4 from the free throw line, I don't love. I'd like to see more attacking and more foul getting. But it's not like Ole Miss is getting a whole bunch of weird calls or anything. I think it's been pretty even. 17 boards for Auburn, 10 for Ole Miss, so they're +7 on the boards. I know Cassidy P is going to be satisfied with that, and also Yabo will be as well. P-Pass notes that Brakefield, as I was talking about him as a 6th man, that he is a star. I mean, he's been a starter many times in his career, and for a long, he's had a lot of starts. So yeah, I wasn't trying to say, he's kind of an up-and-comer. I mean, he's just the way that they're set up right now. He's the 6th guy, and it's a little misleading. I mean, but Chaney, same way, right? I mean, he's a 6th man, but he's a player. He's played a bunch of basketball in his career. Hey, let's go back and look at Auburn playing Duke. Great. Hey, it's a chance to show Cooper Flag on ESPN. They never do this. Spicy P says, Denver isn't playing like ass. He just sucks at the 1. Most of his minutes are at the 2. This is true. It's just like he started at 1 today, and then he had 3 turnovers? No, he must have had 2 then in that first segment. And they were nasty ones, too. Ephesians is with us. What's up, brother? Clean up the turnovers and be better in transition in the second half, and Auburn can win by 10. But if you don't, then Auburn could lose this one by at least. Make my heart rate faster. P-Pass says, agree, JG. I just thought he'd graduate already. Yeah, I think people probably think that about Janai, honestly. He feels like he's been here a while. And he's been, Simo's been here longer, but nobody was real worried about Simo, of course. Janai, yeah. Bego, what's up, man? Says, hot dang, finally caught one of these. What up, JG? Glad to have you, Bego. Do we have a Bego sound? I think we do.
You could drop a tarantula into his shorts and he'll still be cool.
Glad to have you here, Chi. Resume comparison. Look at that. 12 quad 1 wins for the Auburn Tigers. I believe the ACC has 10. Like the whole league. That's pretty good. And one of those ACC wins is against Auburn. It's the Duke win. I was like, don't shoot that, Denver. Oh, God. Don't sit on him, you dick.
Drop.
Why did the guard just sit down on Janai? That's not very nice. That's a walk. What a great second effort there for Janai. And then Ole Miss comes down and hits a 3. They are up to the task today, guys. They're playing ball. He can roll, man. It's been a good game, man. That's just all you ask for. Good game. Don't get anybody hurt. And just see what happens. I think BP was talking about this in the press conference the other day where he said, I just hate losing games when we screw it up, If we just get beat by a team that's playing great basketball, I can live with that. Oh. Chad with a nice drive and just can't finish it. And then he gets a anger foul that he didn't finish. Do you think that was an attempted, like, not alley-oop, but do you think they were lobbing the ball for Janai there? I guess I thought it was a shot, but it looked from that second camera angle, it looked like an alley-oop attempt or something. There he is. Poppy Clan says, my boy Ray Hudson. Yes, that is correct. Ray Hudson made a career out of calling Messi and Ronaldo and Neymar, which Neymar's back playing in Brazil, I think. I didn't know he'd fall off that fast. Another quality defensive rebound for Auburn. The rebounding effort from Auburn's been terrific. I know the numbers tell us that and confirm, Janai against the headband guy. Takes a three. Takes a three, makes a three. Spliggity sploosh. He says he's calling God right there. God loves 3-point shots. Loves ones that go in, too. Although he might like them both equally. I don't know, since they're... I don't mean to get religious. We'll drop this one now. 35-29 is the score right now after Janai just dropped a three in on homie's head. Let's see. Spicy Pieces Chad, a non-factor yet again, although it wasn't a foul if it wasn't Pat Adams. Yeah, Chad, I think he comes and goes, right? So considering the way the first half's gone for him, you're probably expecting a hotter second half because he'll usually find a way to go. A way to get in and make a difference, but he sure hadn't done it yet. That's for damn sure. Let's see. Cassidy Pieces, Janai fitting to go off in the tad pad that would require him to be about a quarter of a mile to the west. But he might be able to hit from there. I don't know. I wouldn't tell him no. The tad pad. Previously my least favorite arena in the league. But now that Ole Miss is upgraded to the Pavilion, it leaves the Hump as the worst in the league, and just not a great place. Good team plays in there, but a terrible facility. Daniel P. doing a little more mathematician work. Can't be certain, but I think 3 is greater than 2. Kidman says Chad is pissed, walked away from BP, came back clearly trying to stay calm. Ole Miss just came back and hit another triple, so they're balling, man. I didn't have a chance to see it because I was reading the chat because I'm a dummy, but it happens sometimes. All right, looks like Denver's back on the ball now. No Tahad. You got Simo playing wing. You don't like that. Looks like Auburn. Would you get a little timeout action there? Simo playing a lot of minutes. What's going on here? What am I missing? Why is Simo playing this much? Okay, you got 2 fouls on Miles Kelly. No fouls on Chad, but he's just out of it. So I guess that's why you're playing Simo right now. Neither one of those guys are hurt that I know of. I mean, it's not shocking to see the Chad get pissed off because he gets that way sometimes. He's just gotten to a point in his career and his life, really, where he can bring it back in pretty quickly. MC Tigger with an understatement of the day. These rotations have not been optimal. No, they have definitely been suboptimal. They're resetting now to go with the lineup that I think we prefer here, with Tahad at 1, Denver at 2, and Janai out there. So that's usually the best solution. Ambitious says the Simo's playing because they're not playing Kai right now, which is true. I hadn't even thought about that. That Kai is kind of like officially suspended for basically walking off of the... I mean, he did... What in the world was that? I didn't like that decision from Janai. I think he was trying to alley it to Dylan, but it was just awkward and off the wrong foot and all that kind of crap. To be fair, Kai did basically walk off from his team during a game. Just went in the locker room. Like, what? He's still learning how to control his emotions. Dang. Really good defense by Auburn on that possession, but then after the shot, didn't get the rebound. And then they got a second chance opportunity for Ole Miss. So the lead is now down to 1, guys. I felt like Auburn was really humming there for a while. Oh, great rebound from Dylan. See if he passes that ball to Tahad. He's got a layup. But you can just give it to Denver. Splash. Boy, Denver's good in this role, isn't he? Cassidy P and Spicy P have been pulling for this all day. They love seeing Denver playing the 2 role, rhythm shooting and slashing. He's damn good in that role, or he can be, and tonight he's definitely on from a scoring perspective. Just keep him off the ball. Looked like Chris Beard was like Auburn's 6th player out there. He's so far off the line. Here comes Denver. Oh, my goodness.
Splash.
So that was a machination they were running for Denver, who was doing like a backtrack double screen. And Janai just felt like he had a look and pulled up and hit it, man. And I think he put it over the dude, the headband guy, didn't he? No, he didn't. My bad. No, it was Denver who was juking out headband guy. So that's a splash right at the buzz, right in front of the Huzz. And we're going to go into halftime with Auburn up 7. That's nice. Again, they were running that for Denver, and he was open too, but it would have required a skip pass to get the ball to him. And then Janai said, nah, man, I'm good. I could just go for that one right there. Chip said JPP sighting. I guess you saw him walking off the court at halftime. Is that where you saw him? Yeah, let's see let's get some hot fresh stats up here so we can analyze what we will statistically, if it will back up what we think we saw during that first half, which really, I mean, look, guys, no bullshit. I mean, Ole Miss is a good basketball team. They're good. They're going to be in the tournament, like no doubt about it. And I think they're going to cause some problems in the tournament because they've got players and they've got the requisite pieces that you need to be good. They got a good backcourt. They don't necessarily have a big man, but they kind of slash well with their bigger guys and they get out in transition. They're a problem. Let's see. Hot fresh stats coming up right now. All right. So Auburn finishes the half 15 of 30 from the floor, which they obviously will take all day, every day, twice on Wednesday. Ole Miss is 13 of 28, which they're not going to be disconsolate about at all. 4 of 10 from 3. Auburn is 8 of 15 from 3, which is terrific. 3 of 4 from the line, which is just, I don't like that. But I don't really feel like there were a couple fouls there that I thought were kind of ass, but in general, for a Pat Adams-led officiating crew, like I didn't think that was a poorly called half. One thing you're absolutely going to love here is the Auburn Tigers plus 10 in rebounding. Ole Miss finishes with 12 rebounds, and Auburn finishes with 22. I could have sworn Auburn had more offensive rebounds. I gave them credit for 6, but I thought that advantage would have been even more there. 9 assists and 8 turnovers. Again, they're still making progress on that. Had 5 turnovers in the first segment of the game, and then they finished with 8 over the next 5 segments of the game. Nope, 4 segments of the game. So definitely shut that down. And to finish with a positive assist-to-turnover ratio, I think is really is progress. Personal fouls, Ole Miss only called for 4. Auburn called for 8. But you think about how was Auburn scoring buckets that half? Well, Denver Jones was hitting shots in rhythm. Janai was hitting shots away from the bucket, fallaways, and he hit a couple threes. These are not situations where you get foul calls. If Auburn wants to shoot the ball more at the free throw line, why is this guy wearing a Bears jersey, like walking with Calipari? I don't understand. If Auburn wants to get to the free throw line more, they need to drive more, and they're not doing that right now. But you do what you do. Listen, Auburn's up 7 at halftime at Ole Miss. That's better than I thought they would be, so I'm not complaining. Daniel P., I don't know what that means. It doesn't sound very mathematic, though. Wizard D says, I thought Pat Adams was doing the Tennessee-Florida game. No, he's here. He's at the Auburn game, I promise. This is an interesting game. Providence against St. John's. Of course, Rick Pitino came to relevance on a national scene at Providence in the late 1980s. Now coaching at St. John's. I happen to really like Providence. I've been to the school. I like it there. I also love their logo is just very ominous and threatening. I like it. It's a friar. Black and silver friar. Of course, I love the Raiders, so they have Raiders colors. St. John's is like when I was like a 20s something, the St. John's was Fresno State with Tark out there, and they were like kind of good, you know. Now you got Ricky P at St. John's, and they're going to be like the outlier. They're going to get in the tournament. They're going to probably end up losing spectacularly to some team like Northern Iowa after all this hype and stuff. Let's see. Bill Miner says, just got back from dinner in Rome. Glad I can drain. God bless. I don't know if it means Rome, Georgia, or actually 200 miles from Sicily, but that sounds pretty awesome. Wizard D says, yeah, I know, but why is he always doing the Auburn games? Talking about Pat Adams, also known as Patch Adams. Other things to look at in this one, 10 assists for the Ole Miss Rebels, 10 assists on 13 buckets, and then 5 turnovers. So that's something they're going to be happy about. Typically, Auburn can pressure the ball a little bit better and force more turnovers, and they haven't really done that tonight. 2 steals for Auburn and a half is definitely below average. But I don't want to be seen as too critical here because, listen, guys, up 7 at half at Ole Miss, to me, is a huge W. Maybe I respect too much, Ole Miss too much because I worry about them a little bit because I think they're really good. Bego says, Jay with the geography flex. Yeah, just a little bit. I do like maps and shiz like that. AU Taxman says, New York City hoops legend God Shamgod played at Providence. He sure did. Also, Billy the Kid Donovan, who was the star of Rick Pitino's team in 1987 that got to the Final Four at Providence. I wonder if I think Ira Bowman from the Auburn Tigers, assistant coach, I think he started at Providence. Maybe it was Seton Hall. Let me see where he started. No, he did start at Providence. He played with Dickie Simpkins, I believe. Oh, no, he went to high school at Seton Hall Prep. That's why I got confused on that. So then he starts at Providence, and then he transfers to Penn and finished at Penn. As a former Providence Friar. Matt says, what was the line on this game? I don't know. I'm going to look it up right now. I would guess it would be Auburn by 3.5. Looks like it was actually Auburn 6. But I always think the odds are a little weird. I'm not a Vegas person. So, yeah, that's what I'm seeing, 6. Let's see, did Bill ever end up answering where he was at? Ephesians says, I'm with you, Jay. I think Ole Miss is a good team and have a friend who is an Ole Miss fan that was telling me Auburn would run away with this game, and I assured him SEC road games are difficult. Absolutely. Eric G says, Bill Miner, is the food over there just as good as Olive Garden? My man. Let's see, we got some lines coming in. Cassidy Pieces, 5.5. Sparrow Empire, love that name, 6, you said, and then Small Victory says 4.5. So we don't know exactly what it is, but it's in that range. Wizard D says he's been nervous about this game for the last 3 days, or last few days, excuse me. So, yeah, I've been worried about it longer than that. Well, they should be getting hazard pay for having to broadcast this stuff from Duke. The place sucks. It's actually really nice there, but I don't want to admit that. So what do we see? Let's see. Spicy Pieces. Providence has a top 3 logo in college ball. It's so sick. I absolutely love it. Love it. I had a Providence hoodie a few years ago. I don't know where it went. It disappeared, but it was a black hoodie with that ominous Friar logo. I thought it was cool as shit. And you'd be surprised. Like, nobody knows what logo that is. Because, you know, they only play basketball, really. And they haven't been good for a while, so, you know, people wouldn't necessarily see that. Small Victory says, Bill might be somewhere where Auburn is worth the data rate he's paying. I'm glad for that. Let's see. A Taxman says, thanks for the halftime commentary, so I don't have to listen to my mother-in-law ramble on matters unknown. I don't have to do that either because my mother-in-law's dead, but enjoy her while she's here because when she's gone, you'll miss her, I promise. I didn't think I could hate my mother-in-law more than I did in about 2005, but it actually ended up that I didn't hate her when she died, and then I kind of miss her. It took a long time for me to realize that she didn't hate me, that it was just the way that she looked at the world and the way she talked when she was drunk. And at the end of the day, I mean, you know, she's co-conspirator on my wife, and she's pretty important to me, so I'm able to see the bright spots. Plus, her husband, my father-in-law, is a pretty cool guy, too. I miss him. Let's see. Kenny says, I guess it was a nothing burger with Chad. More of the same from ESPN. Were they trying to say like he was hurt or something? I don't know what that. ESPN sometimes can get a little carried away with they just play stuff up so much. And I kind of get it. Like if you're an assignment editor at ESPN, like you're trying to find things that, you know, people are going to want to watch about, I guess, or I don't know. I've been trying to learn. I've been trying to up my YouTube game, which you guys probably don't even know because I haven't been posting a lot on YouTube lately. But I've been taking courses. Why did I double say that? Taking courses online and learning how to do better things in Final Cut Pro and stuff because I got some great things coming up this coming football season and beyond where we're going to be doing more live stuff and be doing more packaged videos because I'm going to understand how to do all that stuff a lot better than I do. But one of the things they talk about in content world is like, okay, you got to look at your algorithms, see what people are clicking on, and then you got to do more of that. And so if I were to do that all the time, it would get me away from what I think I should be writing about or doing videos about, and it'd be more about what the algorithm tells me. I think ESPN assignment editors probably do the same thing. Maybe not with algorithms, but they say, hey, our viewership was up whenever we show Cooper Flag or something, so let's do more Cooper Flag, and then it just becomes like this, like it just cascades, you know? Let's see. Cassidy P notes that this is really a big stakes day. The first big one, I would say, for Derby prep. We have the Withers, the Holy Bull, and the Bob Lewis Stakes today. Prep season in full swing. I can't show you because I can't move the camera. However, I have a picture. I'm going to go get it because it's halftime. Look at this beauty. You know who that is? Holy Bull. One of my all-time favorite horses, bro. Absolutely amazing horse. He got sponged in the Derby and didn't win. Such an underreported story, too. Somebody literally went into a stall and put a sponge in his nose. And so he goes and runs in the Derby and he can't breathe. Unbelievable, man. Oh, here we go. Small Victory says Jay Williams made comments about how with the sideline stuff between BP and the plane crap. They're still talking about the plane. Give me a break. Will dysfunction catch up to us? Can I roll my eyes anymore? Come on, y'all. Jeez. I got a Holy Bull. I got that picture of Holy. Well, it's not a picture. It's a photo. I've also got Cigar, who is probably Zenyatta is probably the best horse I've seen. Although, yeah, Zenyatta probably is. Yabo says, are you giving Broom the green light to keep shooting threes in the second half? No. He gets one, and that's it. He needs more buckets inside. Although the way Ole Miss is defending him today with such aggressive double-team traps, the solution to that is, and he's usually really good at this, is pass out quickly. You get two quick passes, and you can just go behind him. Somebody can position themselves behind him, and they're wide open. We've seen that a couple times tonight with Dylan, but they haven't been able to get the ball to Dylan. Working on that, I'm sure. P-Pass says, Holy Bull is my favorite sire. Okay. Mine is Mr. Prospector. Probably gone now, but he sure did a lot of work. P-Pass says, wow, I saw American Pharaoh. Oh, man. Good horse. Didn't run long enough for me, though. We're in the era now where if you're like American Pharaoh and you win the Triple Crown, they immediately put you to stud because you're worth more there. I get it, but back in my day, well, Cigar's not a good example because Cigar was a gelding, but there was no reason to stop running Cigar, but super good horse. And, of course, Zenyatta is what she is. Spicy P says he lives in Raleigh, or should I say Raleigh? I don't know how to say that. Duke fans are real butthurt they aren't being adored more. Is that true? I feel like every time we look at TV, they're talking about Cooper Flagg. I'm just so bored with it, man. Nana Mouse says they said Chad had words with BP during a timeout. They mentioned it. It happened last game. Then they added the plane stuff. I mean, God, Chad is, guys, we know the story here. Chad is a hothead. Chad also has generally very good control of his emotions, like where he gets mad and then he backs up. P-Pass says cigar was not a gelding. I had shares. Okay, this is me. This soundbite is for me.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
So that's a mistake on my part. My bad. He said he had shares. Cigar, amazing. Ran for Alan Paulson back in the day. Had that really nice AP. Oh, wait, hold on. Or did he run for was he an MP? That's how long it's been, I guess, since I've really looked at that photo. But anyway, he was a Paulson horse for sure. Spicy Pieces in England, it's Raleigh. Here it's Raleigh. That's right, Raleigh. It's Raleigh. Raleigh. Yeah. Terrence says the good news is we're up 7 against a top 25 team, and we can still find numerous ways Auburn can realistically improve. Absolutely. And also, Yabo asked a great question. What did Chad have to do with the plane? He was on it. Therefore, he's the problem, I guess. That was strictly between Kai and Turtle. I don't know what Chad's got to do with that. They're just going to try to say that there's dysfunction on the team or whatever. But BP allows his players to be animated and to speak their mind. I was actually talking to Hoke about this the other day. He's great to talk to, honestly. And we were talking about how BP is really good about, he's an intense person, but he allows players to be intense without giving them shit. So, like, if Janai wants to bitch or if Chad wants to bitch, he gives them space to do it, and he doesn't take it all personally. So if Chad kind of grumbles at the coach, like, he just kind of, like, he doesn't take it personally. He just kind of focuses on what's got to be done instead of worrying about what the kid's saying. I think it's cool. P-Pass says he was absolutely a Paulson. I just don't remember if he ran under the AP or the MP. And then also, Taxman says he's a big fan of Zendaya. I am too. Not Zenyatta, but Zendaya. What's Chad got to do with it? Rest in peace to Tina Turner, who was a Swiss citizen. Oh, I'd say that 10 times. A Swiss citizen. A Switzerland national when she passed away. Boy, it's weird how often Janai's been able to switch over against Padula. You know? And Padula's actually held his own as a defender. It's kind of crazy. You'd think that Janai would have him 8 out of 10 times. And that's not the matchup he's got right now. Here comes the double team. Dylan's right where he needs to be. Perfect. I just couldn't finish. That's the exact machination Auburn wanted and the shot Auburn wanted and just couldn't quite put it down. P-Pass says, speaking of which, where is a good derby party in Bama? The only one I can speak of is mine. Or I should say ours. We always have one. But you got to have a special proclamation to get into my party. Although, P-Pass, we could probably work something out, bro, if you wanted to come hang. We usually have folks over, kicking it, watching the pre-races, drinking bourbons, and not juleps, because we hate juleps, but like the Oaks Lily. It's a delicious drink, too. I'm really satisfied with the defense Miles played on Padula's three-point right there. And Miles is wide open for a three. They just didn't hit him. He's frustrated, but he's going to regroup. Miles is cool. All right, Chad. Show us what you're made of, bro. He's going to try to ISO this. He thinks he can beat Padula. Ole Miss is not hedging screens at all right now. So it's kind of it's a straight play defensively. So I think this is a situation where Tahad would be very advantageous. They probably won't play him that way. But I love him as a pick and roll roller as an attacker, but he's not out there right now. I also like Denver that way, but he doesn't have quite the acceleration that Tahad does. I think that's an opportunity there that they need to exploit a little bit more. Oh, he kind of... That's a really smart play right there to beat Janai down low. He kind of used Janai's positioning against him, and then just kind of booted him out and had a layup, basically. And I guess Janai was being a little softer than normal because he didn't want to pick up that third foul yet. CJ says, what was Dillon even doing there? I think he just got excited. He got the ball. He knew he had good position, but Ole Miss defense regroups really, really quickly. Oh, good play by Chad. He just got waxed. Playing whack-a-mole against him right there. Revin says Dillon has to catch that. It was a tough pass, but I think he should have probably been able to pull that down, yeah. Let's see, P-Pass says, I love the Belmont, but the Haskell is wild. I think we're still out. The Belmont's going to be at, Saratoga or Aqueduct this year still, because they're doing that huge renovation at Belmont, which looks like it's going to be really awesome. I've never been to Belmont, which is really to my discredit. It's pathetic. I really wish I could go there. I'm going to go there. I've been talking with Cassidy P trying to get up to Saratoga. I like that. Carter says that their ESPN camera's been zooming in on the student session, flicking off broom. That's funny. All right, 42-36 is where we're at. Let me give everybody the appropriate points here. Sometimes I don't update that, second by second. Just because we're talking about the game, watching the game, et cetera, et cetera. Dillon with some D right there. Can't spell Dillon without D. Another smart play. It's the turnover or causes the chaos that results in the turnover and then tips the ball back to get the ball secured into Auburn's hands. There's Denver into the middle.
Boom shakalaka!
Oh, my goodness gracious. Great. That was a really good risk assessment by Denver to get into the paint like that and then dump it up for Dillon, who put it straight down into the hole. The attack angle on that was straight down. Oh, great finish by Padula on a really nice defense from Dillon on that drive, considering he's defending as a guard. It was great. But an even better finish. Dude, that last alley-oop was disgusting. There's Broom on Padula again. Now, if Broom switches to his right hand, he probably has a better shot there. Instead, he was trying to go left-handed, potentially under the basket, and he can't believe he didn't get fouled there. Yes, it was a dunk, ESPN. Thank you for that. I'd like to see a replay on that last move by Janai and to see, A, if he got fouled, and B, if he would have had an open look with his or open layup. Oh, I didn't realize Kai's not even dressed out. So he really is suspended. Okay. We haven't really been asking about it because, Kai's like the ninth guy. I don't know. I guess I should have asked more about that. Spicy P thinks that last alley-oop's got to be FC top 5. There have to be some amazing dunks for that to not be top 5. Let's see. P-Pass says one of his friends threw a horse named Chocolate with my pick. Chocolate is a good name. You think that would have been used in the last 100 years? I guess we're going to do a point now where you can start recycling names from the old days. Let's go ahead and get some hot, fresh stats up. I'm going to do just for this half. Look at Mal Swanson getting some opportunities to do some ads there. Wife of Dansby Swanson, also outstanding soccer player for the United States. Formerly Mallory Pugh. All right, we got some hot, fresh stats coming up here. 44-38 is what we're looking at. You're looking at these numbers going, wait a minute, 3-4. What are you talking about, JG? These are just second half. This is just the box just for the second half. Auburn 1 of 4 from the flow. 1 assist, 1 turnover. They've got 0 assist, 1 turnover, 2 of 4 from the floor. So still pretty easy, simple there. This is where ESPN goes, Ole Miss has twice as many points in the paint. It's 4-2. Let's see. Anonymous says Dylan was fouled on the breakaway. They're trying to see if it's flagrant. That would be interesting. Thank you for that, Anonymous. I didn't realize that. Let's see. Yabo says, I would very much like to know more about Kai. He's had 2 strikes. Give the kid another chance. I mean, he'll get another chance. I don't think he's done anything to permanently put himself on the bench. But you got to chill. Also, Scotty P notes that Kai was dressed out in the first half. Interesting. I didn't see that. D Lucky in the house as well. We've got another pillar with us. Ephesians says, obviously, as Auburn fans, we know Pat Adams is bad at officiating against Auburn, but he's actually just a bad official anyway. I wonder where he's at on the Ken Palm referee ratings. Since we're on halftime break here, we're on a TV break, I should say. We can take a look at that. Let's see. It's under miscellaneous. Ref ratings. So they've got Pat Adams ranked as the 22nd best official in the country out of about 200. But, the guys that would be doing SEC games, like the 200th guy is not going to be doing SEC games. So probably for guys that are actually doing SEC games, it's probably bottom half, but like the top of the bottom half is probably where he's at. Stuff like that. But sometimes these official ratings can be a little weird because sometimes it's somebody out on the West Coast that maybe that's doing a great job, but it's games you don't give a shit about. All right, so they're gonna give a technical foul here for Ole Miss. A 2-shot tech. I don't know a whole lot about what's going on there. Something Dylan did wrong, but I don't know. Cassidy Pieces Pat just fined Carwell $10,000. Oh, Padula with a step back against Chaney. So that was a nice little twist there for them. They get a 5-point surge off the technical plus the 3. So Auburn's lead is down to 1. Of course, you do have Tahad out there now. Chad, Janai, Miles, and Chaney. It's a good lineup. Miles has got a wide open 3. He should be able to hit that, and he did. The last time Auburn they got this close, Denver pulled up for a 3 and hit 1. And this time it's Miles to get them back out to 4. All right, Auburn was going to switch that screen, but they didn't because the ball came back. Great play by Miles Kelly. Oh, and he didn't finish. Oh, he got fouled. Okay. A little like Euro step crossover and was like going to the hole unabated, but got fouled on the cross, I guess. Dude, Miles, that was tasty. He was cooking somebody on that drive right there. I think fouling him was the right idea. All right, so Miles is going to the line. Spicy Pieces, Miles, ride this guy. Miles is definitely a guy that I love his approach to the game. I love his confidence. And I love, you talk about how fiery Chad is. And I'm kind of a fiery person myself, but I love the way that Miles is the same guy every minute. I love that about him. And so he's the kind of guy that can be a star. I really believe that if he just, he's playing on a team with a lot of guys who are stars. I do think he's kind of a Scottie Pippen. I think he's better as a 2. Not a shooting guard, too. I just been like the number 2 player. Auburn's got to keep their head up on defense. They didn't do that. Janai got a little bit. His eyes got a little bit looking at the wrong thing there. Todd.
Splash.
Oh. Tahad is the trailer on a 3. They just back to him, and he just splashed that bad boy. 52-43, and I mean, that was in a hurry. Ole Miss got that down to 1, and Auburn said, no, we ain't doing that. All right, so Chaney got cooked on the last 3 that Padula hit, and Padula was about to do it to him again, and then Chaney fouled him. Man, I'm surprised Ole Miss didn't defend that shot a little bit more ardently. I'm talking about Tahad's 3, and he just pulled up and just kind of casually just splashed that ass. Anyway, Padula going to the line now on a legitimately bad foul. Not a bad call, a bad choice by Chaney to run into him out there. There's just no any need for that. Cassidy P notes that Chaney picks up number 3. I meant to ask him the other day. I just didn't know how to word it, and it's kind of like, dude, you get into foul trouble a lot. How do you feel about that? Chaney's such an interesting guy to interview because he's he's always in such a good mood. And he just acts like every day is just a joy. Like he's just happy, so happy that Auburn plucked him up and he's having this opportunity to play at a big-ass school like Auburn. He's just so, content. Content's not the right word. He's happy to be at Auburn. He works his ass off. I think nobody works harder than him at Auburn. And that's saying something because some of these guys work their butts off. Miles Kelly is a hard worker. Janai's a hard worker. Tahad's a hard worker. And Simo's actually a hard worker. I know you guys like to make fun of him a lot, but Chaney's he's like the D Ford of this program. Remember how D used to just work out every freaking day? Be a random Tuesday in February, and D Ford's out there doing his own work, his own track work and shit, Chaney's like that. I don't know. Carter says his question would have been, why do you continue to make boneheaded fouls? That's not how we do it. But I appreciate you getting straight to the point with that one, Carter. That would be good. All right, so we've got an out of bounds underneath for the Ole Miss Rebels. Miles Kelly coming out. Maybe did he get cut or something? What is that, a fake? What is that guy act? Oh, jeez. Boy, Chad got absolutely just flummoxed on that one. Good defensive rebound from Janai, but Chad's got to do a better job. He is not the second guy off the floor in that situation. He's going to be the first one to the hole right here, though. Oh, good foul, good foul. That's what I would have done. Chad finding a way to go talk with Clark there on his way through. I feel like Auburn's getting irritated in a good way. They just feel like they're just getting irritated. And I think they're going to get mad. They're going to hate dunk on these people or so. Oh my goodness. Hit that turtle. Hit that. Oh, he missed it. Didn't even get it close, really. Padula with a nice rebound right there. Oh, that's a walk. He didn't walk? I thought he was tripping on himself and fell in. I don't know. Whatever. All right, 52-46 is what we got here. Yeah, CJ, I'm with you. I thought Chad was going to go to the hole and just absolutely tomahawk somebody there, but they fouled him on the way in. I thought Tahad was open on that little rotation. I think Janai didn't get up enough on that shot. I wonder if that's his ankle hurting him or he just kind of got in a weird body position on that shot. I mentioned earlier in the game, first half, Padula, I thought, was playing his balls off in their win against Texas, and boy, he's doing it again right now. Another drive. Auburn's having a hard time getting in front of him. BP loves to say you got to build that wall, man. You've got to find a way to resist those drives, and Auburn's not doing a good enough job right now on Padula resisting those drives. You got to get something in the way there. You got to obstruct him. All right, so here's your double. There's your easy bucket right there. Great positioning from Turtle to see that open space. And a nice – that's a perfect spot for Janai, right, to pull that double out at about a distance of 8 feet, and that just creates a nice little vacuum there in the middle for somebody to slide in there. Now, Dylan's done that before. I wasn't able to finish, but Turtle was just unabated. Nice machination. Boy, another nice one for Ole Miss, too. They missed the first shot, but they were able to get it on the second tip, and it's fucking Padula again. He's been just killing him. Been absolutely killing him right here. Both of these teams are making some great passes. Two good ball clubs. There's another nice pass from Tahad to Janai, but he missed it. No foul. Another offensive rebound for Ole Miss. They're going to get another chance at a second. And Janai is really mad. He might get teed up here. You better calm down. Boy, Janai's pissed. He doesn't usually get that mad. I mean, he's a bitcher, but he doesn't usually get that animated. I don't know what to say on that one. I need to get a better look at that one before I complain about it. To be honest, I just don't know. Janai clearly thought that was not a foul, but he's not necessarily the best witness on these. Sometimes he complains a little too much. I'm going to go ahead and do a second half box here and see what we're looking at as far as trends go. Things that are just hitting me off the top of my head is that Chaney's still a 0 right now, and Chad Baker's still a 0 right now, and this is not good. This is one of those guys that's got to not be a 0. I'm thinking more like Chad at this point because I kind of promised you guys he would snap out of this. You know, he typically does. He has these long runs where he's worthless, and then he'll pop back up and give you an 8 real quick and have a couple defensive plays. We haven't really seen that yet. 13-16 this half, which surprises me a little bit because I feel like Ole Miss has been playing significantly better than Auburn. Auburn's 4 of 11 from the floor, 6 of 12 for Ole Miss right now. As far as rebounds go, 9-5 have flipped. Remember, Auburn was really good on rebounds in the first half. They're down 4 right now. It's still kind of early, but yeah, you want to see those rebounding numbers turn around a little bit. Points in the paint, Ole Miss is up 6. Fast break, Auburn's up 3, though. So that's kind of a good change from what it was going on in the first half, where I felt Ole Miss was a lot better on the break. Now Auburn's probably a little bit better on the break. 4 assists and 1 turnover for Auburn. I correctly surmised that they would be cutting these turnovers down. I think they're at 7 now for the game, maybe 8. Again, this is the second half box you guys are looking at right now. Let me give you the turnover numbers for the game. They're at 9 turnovers for the game, and they had 5 in the first 4 minutes. So definitely chilling out. Yabo thinks he's been seeing Chad loafing. I haven't seen it, but I'm not disproving you. I'm just saying I haven't noticed that. Brandon J keeps calling him Whitey. He's talking about Padula. He's 7 of 10 from the floor in this game, and he has 18 points. So he's playing. He's definitely playing. 25 minutes played, 18 points. So that's pretty good. Auburn's leading scorer is Janai and Denver both have 13. Denver on 4 of 5, and Janai on 5 of 10 is what we're looking at right now. 0 assists and 2 turnovers for Ole Miss on 6 buckets, which is kind of odd. But they've been doing a lot of stickbacks, and Padula's just been kind of pulling up, so that's not necessarily super surprising. Personal fouls is 4 on Auburn, 3 on Ole Miss, which is even. And free throws are about even, too. So the difference in this half, I think, has just been Ole Miss has been rebounding a little bit better, particularly on the offensive end. And Auburn was generally a very, very good defensive rebounding team, one of the best in the country. And they've been getting worked a little bit. But, again, I don't want to get too carried away here in the sense that, we're still kind of early in this half. Poppy Clan notes that Chad is not playing with usual vigor. He's definitely not playing with usual expertise, that's for sure. Hey, that's actually really cool right there, in my opinion. I mean, because Patrick Evans could have teed him up right there. And instead, he gave Janai a warning. Probably just knowing that that's not characteristic for Janai, knowing that he's a senior, just giving him a little bit of leeway. So I thought that was nice. I think it's the right way to do it. That was good officiating right there. Of course, we say that more often when it's not Pat Adams. They hit 2 free throws, and now it's back down to 2. So Auburn, the last 2 times, I should say, they've been threatened like this. They were able to push it back out very quickly. Let's see what Auburn comes up with here. You don't want Semo shooting a 3. That's a foul. Did Semo hit the back of his head again? No, he's all right. Bro, is that Huggy Bear on their staff, or does he just look a lot like Huggy Bear? No, it's not Huggy Bear. I just don't know these guys. Bob Donewald is his name. Looks like he'd be Huggy Bear's brother. Wow. Miles Kelly pulls up from about 8 feet. You think he's going to splash that. He misses it. It looks like Dylan just stuck it right back in. That's nice. It ain't pretty necessarily, but it gets the job done, and I think Auburn will take it. Padula's still trying to – oh, another nice play. That's Padula with the dish right through the double team. And you got a wide open layup. You got to have some backside heads up on that. I like Dylan just goes. Oh, that's on Dylan. Well, and you could argue it might have been on Miles too, but Dylan wasn't doing the thing. Spicy P says sick pass. Yeah, it really was nice. A really good look, man. He's a good player, man. He is. He's just a good player. Semo at wing, I just don't love. I understand. Can't leave the other guys in there all the time, but I don't like that shot at all. Denver is trying to shake and bake from about 23 feet. I don't love it. I don't love it. He can hit the shot, but it's just not the number one shot. And I think they can do better. Should do better. My opinion. There you go. There's a nice play by Dylan. A really nice play from Semo to tip the ball over. Oh, Chaney with too hot of a pass there. Should have been a layup, but the pass is just too hot. Miles was elevating on the baseline, and I was like, there's no way that there's physically no way that ball can go in. And he got fouled, but he hit the backboard on a shot. I was like, there's no way this can go in. There was a dude many years ago, I don't know if you guys remember this, but played for UMass back when Camby was there and they were really good. His name was Padilla. And he played a lot like Padula. This is like 25 years ago, 30 years ago maybe. Edgar Padilla, I believe was his name. Oh. Miles Kelly with another downtown shot from Pontotoc, Mississippi. He comes up with some timely threes, I'll tell you that. There's times in the game where you don't even notice him, and then all of a sudden he'll pop up and hit a splashy. And I don't feel like he misses a lot of threes. But Padula with a little bit of a heat check there. The defense from Chaney was really good. Denver. That was a 200 IQ play from Dylan right there to box out to just try to let that ball roll out. I like Denver. When he got into the lane there, he didn't have anywhere to dish it. I mean, the only person in the vicinity was Dylan, and he wasn't ready for it. 13 points for Miles Kelly. It's been kind of a quiet 13 just because it's like a 3 here and a 3 there, and they're spread out, and you don't really notice it. I never even get a chance to say he's heating up because he just kind of hits them and disappears for a little while, but they're still pretty good. Chris Hill, it was Marshall Henderson was his name. He was more of a slasher than this dude's doing everything. But, yeah, fair enough. Marshall Henderson is a bad, bad man. He's kind of like the Baker Mayfield of college basketball at the time. Just a rootin' and tootin', hollering son of a bitch is what he was. I like guys like that. Reminds me many years ago of a football player named Fred Smoot that played at Mississippi State, did the same kind of thing, same kind of antics. Fine football player. One Cameron Newton used to do some stuff like that. All right, guys, I've had enough of this Denver pullback shit. I'm done with it. I'm absolutely done with it. No more pullback shots for you, Denver. Don't do it. God, I'm so sick of it. Those shots are not going down, and they're not a quality shot. I really was thought that Miles was going to hit that three. They're going to call Denver for a charge on that. I think that's probably fair because he kind of gave him the Sean East from Missouri used to do that all the time, and he got away with it for whatever reason. The forearm shiver with the extension. They almost always want to call that a charge. Sean East, for some reason, got like a lifetime pass to not get a charge called on that, but for everybody else, it's the same thing. Now Miles is just trying to fight through a screen. I think that's bullshit. That's an advantage, disadvantage. I don't like the call. Whatever. Damon K thinks it's lazy offense. He's talking about the pullbacks from Denver. The step backs, I can't do it. I don't like it at all. I don't like that at all. He's just fighting through a screen, man. You got to give him an opportunity to fight through a screen. Dude, Tahad is holding his ground. Good defense from Tahad. Second chance opportunity, though. Again, man. That's usually like Auburn. I feel like they have the copyright on second chance points, but Ole Miss has really come through and gotten some big ones tonight. Scotty P says Denver's first one was thrown up as a shot clock was expiring. Good point. Thank you. I'll take that one off the ledger. But the one where he got called for the forearm shiver, I mean, dude, it was not necessary. All right, it's getting tight again. I'll say it for a fourth time. Every time Ole Miss gets this close, Auburn usually finds a way to push back out. It's been Denver's had a few. Miles has had a few. Looks like Janai is going to take matters into his own hand, but he just lost that ball. I feel like Ole Miss's organization on the break is really good. It's been good all day. They've been better in transition than Auburn. You don't say that very often. That's a foul on Chad. I think that's fair. That dude has got the absolute Mike Hampton thing going. This is the other the other point guard. He's doing the stop-start attack, and number 5 there. And it makes it hard when you're trying to defend him from behind. You can't chase him from behind. He just can't do it. He's going to stop on you, and you're going to run him over. The trail technique, as we would say in football, playing with cornerbacks, you would not want to play with trail technique against him. Don Properdickin, coming to us from across the ocean, says, a time for Pat to check in, get his little piece. Something to think about right there. Spicy P says that was 3 fouls in 7 seconds. He loves that. Pat Adams loves that. All right, it's down to 1, and he has an opportunity here to equalize. Auburn just in a weird run of form right now. Janai has 0 points in the half, as ESPN notes. His shot quality's not been very good. But that's okay. I mean, if they're going to put so much effort into doubling him, I think it's okay. You just have to get the ball out quickly. And he's generally a master at that. Ole Miss does not hit the free throw, so Auburn maintains its 1-point lead. Just got to have quick tempo to get out of that double team. That's all. I think if you do it, then you'll get a layup or a good opportunity. Boy, they are really face-checking Chad here. Good play by Dylan. A year ago, Dylan would have taken that ball and gone low with it and gotten his shit packed. This time he gets the ball and he keeps it high. That's good technique. That's a really good technique. Yeah, Brandon says they've held Janai Broom scoreless in the second half. He's 0 for 3 right now, and I don't love the shot quality we've seen from him so far. In this half, I should say. I guess we'll take a look at, this will be the last one we'll do with the second half box. All right, populating stats right now. Oh, Jay. All right, here we go. Fresh stats. All right, 24-18. This is just the second half box. Just what's happened since halftime. So, some concerning numbers here, certainly from the Auburn perspective. A 6 of 18 from the floor. You don't like to see that. The 5 assists, 3 turnovers, I'm not bothered by. Rebounds are dead even, which means Auburn has actually made up ground in that manner in the last 8 minutes or so. 8 of 16 from the floor from Ole Miss, which they're going to be fine with. 1 of 5 from 3 really hasn't been a big part of their game so far today. Has been the 3-point shooting, and something I've been bitching about all day is the free throw situation. I think Auburn's conceded a few free throws that they didn't deserve to have conceded, but I would like to see more in terms of putting yourself in position to get fouled and get to the line. 3 of 4 from the line is just not. It just seems very passive to me. I feel like Auburn's attacking has been too jump shooty. And they are a good jump shooting team, but I think this game's going to – I think in order to win this game right now, they're going to have to drive more and get more buckets closer to the hole. Or Miles Kelly or Chad's going to have to go off. But basically, based on what Chad's been doing today, I would not see that as a likely possibility. Poppy Clan says, I like the blowout games more than the close ones. Yeah. That's like everybody's a professional trader when the stock market's cranking, right? But when things are down, that's when it gets harder, right? Cassidy P says we need to drive to the rack. We continue to settle. I agree completely. I think Auburn needs to force the issue more at the hole, which they haven't really done as much today at all. I understand that Auburn's, first of all, a very good offensive team, and second of all, more of a jump shooting team anyway. So it's not like they're getting away from their DNA, but if Ole Miss is going to attack so much on their end, I mean, Auburn can't continue to be so passive on their end. They're going to have to – I mean, they're never going to get Ole Miss into foul trouble or anything like that. Anthony R. says, gotta love these games when it shows who wants it more. I do think this is one of those games, just like you said. And I hope if you win that Dickie V BMW, he signs it or something. Says, hello, baby. Let me sign it for you, baby. It's at the Ritz-Carlton in Sarasota, of course. The guy's a national treasure. Even if you don't like him, he's a national treasure. He kind of got on my nerves a little bit. He's a great guy in real life, though. He's a very, very friendly person. And he doesn't big-time you at all, which is cool. He'd be the opposite of, who's that guy? The Onions guy. I forget his name. Bill Raftery. Bill Raftery did not strike me as a cool guy. He seemed like a dick. But Dickie V, not a dick. Also, Andy Kennedy, who I actually met as a ESPN analyst, is a cool guy, too. I like him a lot. And Dari, cool guy, too. A lot of good guys in sports. I like on ESPN, broadcasters and stuff. Dylan hit 1 free throw, but not 2. I know we're all just having a hard time with his the arc of his free throws. They seem very flat. Very flat. 60-58. We got just under 8 minutes to go. And my guess is that Ole Miss is going to try to find a way to jam this ball inside and try to do some damage in there. And just as I say that, Padula tries a three-pointer that he misses completely. Oh, Dylan offered him a hand up, and no, number 3 said, no, I'm good. He looks like an Auburn football player. I just can't place the face. Talking about the guy who's about to go to the free throw line for Ole Miss. Yeah, Dylan kind of nudged him with his right arm a little bit. He looks like an Auburn football player of yesteryear, and I can't place it. Maybe he's like a really thin version of Timmy Duckworth or something. He looks like him in the face. I don't know. I'm just throwing out things. But there's no other Auburn stream talking about Timmy Duckworth right now. The guy's a stud, though. All right, Denver kind of ran himself into a cul-de-sac, but recognized it. That's fine. Got plenty of time on the shot clock. Janai says, I'll handle this. Hit that, Chad. Hit that. He did.
Splash.
Janai with a little dish over to Chad, who hit a pretty long three right there. He's about 4 feet behind the line and just splashed it. That was big time. Definitely a splash. Daniel Pease fired up. Yabo is fired up. So is Poppy Clan. Decatur Tiger is fired up. I was going to say another bad word. Try to keep this as PG rated as possible. MC Tigger's fired up. Double D's in the house. My man. What's up, bro? Glad to see you on back-to-back streams. Fired up about it. Had another you wish moment yesterday. He went and we were using a redeploy to attack somebody that was up on top of that church or whatever, and he was the first one there, and he landed and got just annihilated. And he goes, "Where's my help?" I was like, "Bro, we haven't even gotten to the redeploy yet. I was like 100 yards away." It's just funny. It's just Warzone jokes. All right, Janai's going to try to draw the double, or he can do like a. I didn't like that shot, Chad. Oh shit!
Splash.
That was all made possible by Dylan getting a huge rebound in the middle of three guys. Kicked the ball out for Chadley, and he hit it. Now we got a turnover. Denver going the other way. He's going to try to hit that to Tahad.
Drop. Boom shock.
I keep putting the boom shakalaka.
Shakalaka.
I hit it like 10 times, and I was hoping it would play it 10 times, but it didn't. 68 for the Auburn Tigers now. I love when Tahad does this shit right here. Up, up, up. Coach Ian Borders. There's Jeremy. He says, yes, sir. Blake Mashalik is there cheering on his boys. Well, there's another band. Auburn's done it again. This is something that Auburn does pretty much every game where they get kind of pressured and then boom, they have an 8-pointer or boom, they have a 10-pointer. You know what I mean? And they've done it like 3 or 4 times today. Ole Miss has gotten within 1 or 2 repeatedly, and then Auburn just has a big blast and gets back out. Brandon wants to hear the soundbite right here for Chad.
You could drop a tarantula into his shorts and he'll still be cool.
What?
We like that one. Well, actually, I guess that last one was for Tahad, but Chad had a couple splashes there that really fueled that push. It was absolutely edge. And Poppy Clan says Edgar Padilla can't do that. Let's give a laugh on that one. It was, I think that backcourt was Padilla and Travieso, which they used to call Travieso. You get it? It's a joke. But yeah, that was a nice little run there. Back-to-back splashes from Chadley and then Tahad on the alley-oop from Denver on the break. So that was big. Spicy P thinks he's the sickest point guard in college basketball. That's interesting. Brandon J says 52% from 3. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, do we need to get the stats up here? Is that the number for the game? Auburn is indeed 13 of 25 from 3. Wow, 46% shooting overall for Auburn, 52 from 3. So that's good. I mean, you just like to see a better 2-point percentage, I guess. But it's hard to have a great 2-point percentage when Janai's struggling from 2 because he's carrying you usually in that position. Ole Miss is 47% from 2, so they're right there with Auburn there. But their problem is that they're 5 of 16 from 3, so they're 31%. Auburn is 52%, and they're taking more, so it kind of multiplies the advantage there. They are Ole Miss is +6 with free throws as far as how many they've hit. Auburn now has a 10 rebound advantage overall, so some good things going on there. Sam H. is back, a pillar of the community. Glad to have you back, sir. He says, need to play some defense. I think that's the difference here, right? If Auburn can get a few stops and maintain the steam it's got going offensively, that may be enough to seal this bitch with about 6 minutes to go. But, again, a couple more stops might be enough. Looks like the stats I'm looking at say that Ole Miss has 60. So, looks like I've screwed them out of a bucket, and I apologize for that. It's not intentional. Got a little caught up in what was going on there. Spicy P says, Tahad gives me Jeff Teague vibes. Is that a weird comparison? I know who you're talking about, but I'm not sure I know his game as well. I always thought Tahad was like Damon Stoudemire, but I don't know. I always think of Damon Stoudemire as like more of a 3-point guy, whereas Tahad's just more of a hellraiser. But Damon Stoudemire did a lot of hellraising too. Let's see. CJ thinks meaning that Tahad shoots better than Jeff Teague, but I see it actually. All right, cool. Cool. All right, so you'd really like to see a stop here and try to get this lead to the double digits. That would be pretty sweet. And Ole Miss says, no, you can't do that. Get a nice little drive, elevate, finish with the right hand, and got in for the deuce there. So 68-62, 5:40 to go in this bad boy. And looks like you've got everybody that you'd want to be playing in the positions that you'd want them to play right now with Denver at the 2. Janai picked up his dribble for reasons I don't understand and took a very harried, rushed shot that went awry. No, he was not the first person up. I should rephrase that. He was the first person up. He was not the second person off the floor in that one. Daniel D says, is Pettiford better than Holloway? We'll just give that a laugh. Which is the appropriate response to that one. I don't even know if Aiden Holloway's people would take Aiden Holloway over to Hyde. Auburn's looking for some cutters here. Oh, Tahad. And it wasn't a foul, or it was a foul? Oh, my God.
Drop. Boom, shakalaka.
Good God, that was dirty. Dude, Tahad had 2 steps there. It was faster than the guy who was defending him had 1 step. And then he just did a little side dish over there to freaking Dylan, who goes up over 2 guys and dunks it. And he gets fouled. Holy cow, what a play, man. Tahad is the auger. He's the auger. Such a crazy attacker. I mean, he's like what an actual pirate would look like if he's playing basketball, I'm telling you. He's a pirate. He's a swashbuckler. He's there to steal your rum and your bitches, man. Like, that's what he's there to do, and he's just going to raise hell with you. He's Jack Sparrow. And he's just, like, always, like, cunning and, like, just trying to defame you. Coach Ira Bowman right there. And Coach Corey Williams to his left. Ira Bowman, of course, an outstanding basketball player when he was playing. He's about my age. Played, as we looked up earlier, Providence and then Penn. I always think of him being at Penn. He's part of the the Philadelphia 5 Hall of Fame. Ole Miss got to the line, by the way, and they're going to add some points here. Daniel P says, what's going on with Janai? He's just struggling with all the doubles he's receiving. I think he's kind of attacking the doubles in a weird way, right? So the doubles are coming to him quickly and aggressively, and he's like trying to fight through them to shoot because he's not getting the scoring opportunities that he usually does. And that was a really weird drive by Auburn there. And then the passing just hasn't quite developed, not really from Janai as much, but just like the second passing. It's just Ole Miss's gambles paid off. I'll just leave it at that. Looks like Padula might have gotten hit in the nuts. Looks like a guy to me that just got hit in the nuts and doesn't want to grab his bag. Oh, no, it looks like maybe he rolled his ankle a little bit, landing on Dylan. Yeah, CJ says that was not a good drive. That's well said, sir. I couldn't put it any more simply than that. You're putting a very fine point on that, and I agree with it. Let's see. P-Pass notes that Temple is very close to where that plane went down yesterday. That was a bad situation there. That plane was going down. I think they said they estimated the speed of that plane was above 250 miles an hour. I mean, yowzers. Spicy P does not think that was a foul there. I didn't see it well enough. All right, 66-71. Just under 5 minutes to go. Auburn trying to, just maintain here. It's been a frustrating day for Janai, there's no doubt. Although he still has numbers. He definitely has not had a sucky day, per se. 13 points on 5 of 12 shooting, 11 boards. Can't really say a double-double is a bad day. For him, it kind of feels that way, though. Other guys said you've got 13 from Denver, 13 from Janai, and incredibly 13 from Chad Baker-Mazara, but he had that little surge there. He had a 6-point surge earlier, which is about half of his points. He got in about 30 seconds. Let's go ahead at fourth. Well, hold on. I'll wait. We'll do stats at the next the media timeout here in 37 seconds, and we'll do that stat box then. Nothing has changed appreciably really in the last little bit here. Auburn has 11 turnovers total, 18 assists. Hell of a lot better than it was. Remember, Auburn had 5 turnovers in the first segment of this game, and they've only had 6 since then. And that was probably 30 game minutes ago. Let's see, Spicy Pieces as a guard. You can't just charge in there without control and expect contact to be a foul. I think Ole Miss can. But Auburn not getting those as much tonight. Ephesians asks if 80 would be enough to win this one. Yeah, I think so. I think 80 would finish it out at about 80 to 75, something like that. Melee says first to 71 wins. We win. It's that simple. It's basic math, guys. I mean, come on now. Brandon J says 20 fouls to 12. LOL. Again, I just there have been some weird fouls. I would agree, but I don't think that's been the story of this game because Auburn doesn't drive. I mean, they've driven a little bit, but that has not been a consistent attack from Auburn, and it has been from Ole Miss. So, I mean, that's what Ole Miss has been doing. Their outside shooting's been trash, and so they've been driving. That's not really what Auburn does. Auburn hits floaters. Auburn hits in-rhythm threes. Auburn hits jumpers. It doesn't lend itself to fouls being called. Oh my goodness.
He's heating up.
That was nice, dude. Chad was just shaking and baking out there. Finally got his guy leaning the wrong way, drove, and then finished in traffic with a foul. That is how it's done right there, boys and girls. That's just like, here, let me handle this. Nicely done. I'm surprised with what Chad, the way he's been attacking today and what he was obviously trying to do there. I'm surprised that Ole Miss's backside help wasn't able to get another step in closer to him. It seemed a little late getting there, even with everyone in the gym knowing what was going on. It was kind of weird. I didn't see what Auburn was doing on the backside that maybe had caught that guy's attention. I don't know. I will say this game has been a little more individual than you normally see from Auburn on the attacking end, right? There's been a lot of like individual shaking and baking, and I mean, sure, you've had some Tahad like that really nice dump off to Dylan earlier. I mean, I'm not trying to say it's been this way the whole game, but you've had to rely a little bit more on some individual plays to get to keep the scoreboard churning than you normally see from Auburn. And I think that's a credit to what Ole Miss has done. I think their effort's been really good. All right, so Chad went ahead and consummated that three-point play. And no, I don't mean consomme like with that delicious birria down the street at Tipico de Mexico. That's a walk, dude. He jumped up and landed. That'd be a travel. They didn't call it. 68, Padula took him to the hole again. All right, just continue to work this confidently. Now that's the cross-court pass that we were looking for earlier. Janai with a rebound over Padula. That was mean. He just sunned him right there. Oh, and it turns into a little push shot from Chadley, who hits that, gets him up to 76. Really nice work from Janai there. Again, he's not going to get really a good stat on that, right? But it's still a huge play. That's going that way, bro. Auburn really quick on the scene there to trap that number 5 when he was driving. I thought Chad's defense was really good, and then Janai came over to help really quickly. The response was immediate. You like to see it when Auburn's just so invested in defense. They're a great defensive team, and this is part of why I think Ole Miss, if they lose this game, which I think they're probably going to lose this game, they're going to say, shit, man, those guys play some defense now. This is one of Auburn's best defensive games. I'm talking about just strictly playing defense. I think they've given up too many second chance opportunities, which is part of defense. I get it, but I think their positioning and the way that they've handled drives has been really good today. I would still maintain that their defensive effort and execution against Tennessee was the best of the season. Just my opinion on that. But this is really good defense today. All right, so we're going to go back to full box now. This is the first one we've done since halftime. Just because we're so late into the game now, we'll just kind of take a look at what some of these statistical markers tell us. The Auburn Tigers now 47% from the floor shooting, 50% from three-point range. That's pretty good. Me and Herb Hand like those numbers. We do that when we play intramurals. Pretty good. And yes, Brandon is correct. He says CBM, Chad Bacon-Lasagna has played much better in the second half. He absolutely has. 18 points now total. Let me see what his distribution is. He had 6 at halftime. He's got 12 this half. He's 4 of 6 this half. 2 of 3 from 3-point range. 2 of 3 from the line. 0 assist, 1 turnover. But yeah, he's definitely come alive as a scoring element for sure. So you've gotten pretty even contributions, with the exception of Chad, who's been really good. Hashtag fullbox. 13 each from Denver, Janai, and Miles Kelly, which is pretty much on par. You might expect a little bit more from Janai scoring, but they've been on his ass from the very beginning. They said, we are not going to let that guy demolish us. And that typically comes at a price because he's going to pass out. He's such a great passer. And, I mean, he's got 4 assists today. But he also has 3 turnovers, and I think Ole Miss looks at that as a gamble worth taking. Dylan Cardwell with a kind of a quiet but a great game. 8 points and 12 boards for him is really good. But more importantly, his defense has been terrific. And he's second on the team in plus-minus right now with plus 10. Tahad, plus 13, and he's just been an auger today. He just gets stuff going. This offense, I don't really know how to say it. It's just better with Tahad at point. And I honestly think that it's better with Tahad at point and Denver at 2, which limits Miles Kelly a little bit. But I think Denver as an in-rhythm shooter is just absolutely killer. Let's see. Bruce Pearl is all the daddy that you need. Says Iowa State Crossbones. Oh, they're getting drubbed. They're getting kilt by the Kansas State Wildcats. Wow. It's like Kansas State's just pretty much been ahead of them the whole game. And the fact that Iowa State has given up 73 with 3 minutes left in the game, and they're at home. So, yeah, you're right. Bruce Pearl is all the data you need. That is a yucky one for them. Seems like everybody has these yucky games except Auburn and Duke. Well, I guess Houston, too. They play pretty good ball. Oh, Padula just got Chad spun around, but he was too deep to do anything about it. No, another 3 foul. Coach Sonny Smith is going to have a freaking aneurysm over this crap right here. He points without the clock running is something that he just talks about constantly when it's under 5 minutes to go. You don't want to give these away, and Auburn just gave up a 3-point free throw situation here. Goodness. Niels' cousin Denver needs to be getting as much game time as possible. Only at shooting guard, though. All right, number 11, Finesse is his first one in. Lane Kiffin is at the game today, one of our favorite Twitter follows. Matthew Morrell at the line. Hit his first free throw, missed his second. And hopefully he'll miss his third as well. That'd be great. There's a big free throw disparity, but before you guys start freaking about that, understand that Ole Miss has been driving and Auburn hasn't, for the most part. It's just not the way Auburn does business typically. There are games where they do. Let's see. Bruce Pearl is all the data you need. Says Duke is playing against a 6-pack of cupcakes. I mean, the ACC is a joke this year. It actually literally is like Duke and Louisville, and that's about it. It's crazy that even Louisville's a factor. Pat Kelsey, the new coach at Louisville, he's done a hell of a job, and I hate Louisville, but Yabo would like to see one more good run from the Auburn Tigers. I think everybody here would agree. Daniel P says Ole Miss has a 30 free throw attempted. Oh, Ole Miss is actually plus 18 in free throws attempted at this point. And Brandon J says, I wish we had point guards that allowed us to drive more. I mean, Tahad does that pretty well. Denver does an okay job at that, but he loses the ball too much. And Tahad is quicker, for sure. And he's also just more rambunctious and speculative, which can be good or bad. This is a great arena. A really, really nice arena. They did a hell of a job at that place. All right, here we go. We're going to go under 3 minutes with this possession. And you've got everybody in there doing everything that you'd want them to do. With Tahad at 1, Denver is the 2 shooting guard, and then Miles is out, which is not great. Janai with good body position there. That's the pass I'm looking for. That's the fucking pass I'm looking for.
Splash.
That's the ball movement right there. That's it. Denver with the splash right there. Janai with a great challenge on that drive and managed to get a miss out of it. And now Auburn's really probably one bucket and a stop away from clinching this game, I think. Which would be an absolutely massive W, I think. Dish it. Janai wants to go to the line, I guess. Chad was ready for a dunk right there, but Janai couldn't quite get the ball to him. He had the ball too low, but he got fouled. Here's the ball movement right there on the replay. Janai to Chad, back up to the point. Nope, Janai back to the point. Dish it over to Denver, and he's wide open. Splash City. This is exactly that's it, man. The tempo, man. That's what makes Auburn great. It's one of the things that makes Auburn great. The spicy pieces were so good, it's actually insane. It is crazy how when Auburn's in the flow, they're so good. And I don't feel like they've been in the flow for long periods of this game. And credit Ole Miss, they've been a factor. They've been part of why it hasn't been like that. Janai just had 2 dog shit free throws right there. Good God, they weren't even close. That's like the worst possible 5-second twist you could have right there. 2 awful free throws, and then you give up a drive where Padula again goes through the entire defense and finishes at the rim plus a foul. If you're trying to win a game, that is not how you do it. Yeah, Cassidy P, I think you're right. Janai with the dead legs at this point, yeah. I think that's got to be a factor. I mean, he's a very fit individual, so. I mean, he's just played a lot of minutes, I guess. I haven't looked at the final. I guess I have this box up here. 28 minutes is on par for him. He's probably at 31 now. But, I mean, you want him in there at this point. All right, so we've got Miles Kelly switched out now. Wow, this is an interesting lineup here. So you've got Tahad, Denver, Miles, and CBM with Janai as your one big. Oh, and Tahad just gave up the ball, and he's going to get called for a foul. No, he's not. See, so Denver's going to argue that he's vertical, but he's actually was jumping, which kind of weakens his argument on that. Tahad with a key turnover there. Jeez. Miles almost got that ball away, too. Yeah, I don't understand Denver with this, when he's 3 feet in the air. It's not a convincing argument at all. You go points with the clock stopped. It's just what Coach Sonny Smith says you can't do. Auburn doing the things that you can't do to kind of close out a game on the road right now, doing a bunch of them at once. You can jump vertically, but he wasn't doing that there. That's a foul 98% of the time. And plus, credit Ole Miss for just bringing the fight to Auburn on this. I mean, they've been much more aggressive in the way that they've handled things on the attacking end. Auburn's done a good job, too, in their own way, but they haven't attacked as much. Well, this is getting a little bit. What's the call going to be here? Is it an and one? Oh, that's a backbreaker right there. We need to give him something for that.
Drop.
Oh man, that's the kind that just breaks your spirit right there. He knew what he was dealing with too. Janai knew he had 5 and 3 coming at him, and he was like, "These little guys are not going to be able to handle this." And he hit the free throw too. Nice. After 2 really bad ones before that, so that's pretty clutch right there. That's a big time twist. So Tahad got up in the air. They're going to call a foul on it. Chip notes that is actually Janai's first points of the second half. It's crazy. It's a very important 3 right there, I think, to stem this Ole Miss surge. But, yeah, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? Tim the Tool Man is here with us. What's up, G? Glad to have you here on the stream again. My man. Ephesians says literally every trip down is a foul. That's what Ole Miss is doing. They're like, just go to the hole. Go to the hole and be going to the hole. And they're getting the free throws. So it's just so hard for me to tell if that was a legitimate foul or not. I mean, it looked like a foul. Kind of when you're in the air and you're swatting at a ball like that, it just doesn't look good. You know what I mean? Like from a referee perspective. All right, so Ole Miss is already going to start this fouling business, which is fine with me. Tahad's going to be the one this time. Ravin says our defense is very undisciplined today, and Ole Miss is good enough to expose it. Interesting. Yeah, I was talking earlier. I thought this is one of Auburn's best defensive performances, but that's back when it was in the 60s, and I think Auburn's this has not been a great 3 minutes for Auburn defense, 4 minutes. Been very foully. And I agree a little bit. I wouldn't call it lazy, but just haven't quite moved their feet a little bit. They look a little fatigued, honestly, on defense, but on offense, they're still looking pretty good. Tahad hitting a free throw right there, as he often does. I'd like to see his percentage in the last 5 minutes of a game. I feel like he really steps up big when the moment is big. And he hits 2 right there to push Auburn back out to 84. That's a lot of points to score at Ole Miss. And Ole Miss is a good defensive team, man. I don't think they're quite in Auburn's league defensively, but they're good. They're good. Actually, KenPom has them as a top 10 defense. There's a second chance opportunity again. That's been something that I'm sure is going to piss BP off. Too many second chance opportunities. Just way too many. And not even close. And I mean, you got to give them credit. They've gone out there and earned it. Second chance points right now in this game is, it's 15-14. Auburn's favor, actually. But it seems like Ole Miss's are just really blatant and ugly. Looks like Auburn's going to probably finish under 1.3 in points per possession in this game. Defensively, the number is 1.17 for Ole Miss. It's just a little bit high, but not bad. I think Auburn would prefer for it to be 1.3 and then 1.1. But they have been up in 1.4 range at times. Free throws, by the way, Ole Miss is 24 of 35. Auburn is 12 of 17. So a little bit more, like basically double, which has given Ole Miss a 12-point advantage at the free throw line. Auburn is up 9 in rebounding right now. And Auburn, as expected, has completely turned around its assist-to-turnover ratio. They're now at 21-12. Hashtag rush. Hashtag we are the priests of the Temple of Syrinx. And that's a big step forward from 1 assist and 5 turnovers, which is what we saw in the very first period of this game. 21-12 is terrific. Ole Miss, by the way, 11 assists and 9 turnovers. 11 assists on 25 buckets, which is kind of a weird ratio, but if you consider they're basically just driving to the hole and finishing or getting free throws, is kind of what they've been doing. So good for them. Sean Padula has got 29 points on 10 of 16 shooting. 2 assists and 2 turnovers, so he's just really been a scoring element today. Brandon J says, Flanagan is still playing? No, he's not. He's not. Al's gone. Finally. He's played a bunch of basketball, but he's gone. He did play there last year, though. Good point. Good point. Melee says Wes Flanagan has not seen the court. I guess him an Al, because Wes would be coaching. Almost playing for a steal here. But I haven't been successful just yet. And Tahad just kind of trying to dribble this ball out and put some air in that. Looks like Ole Miss is not going to foul immediately, which is interesting because they did on that last possession, so I thought they would do it again, but they're just going to try to hold out here. They're down 5 with just under a minute to go. Auburn wisely just taking their time right here. If he can hit this, that's a wrap. He did not hit it. Denver goes for a big 3 and missed it. It was a good look. It looks like Janai out-hustled them, out-foxed them for the board. Ravin says we need to get better defensive positioning, and maybe these fouls wouldn't be called. Carter agrees, and I do too. They played a little bit sluggishly, I think, on defense in the last 6 minutes or so, which is interesting because I don't feel like I've seen that as much or at all on the attacking end. But it is what it is. So Janai with a massive rebound there, which kind of saved that possession in a way. And Ole Miss fouls him, and he goes to the line, hits another free throw. I remember his 2 trips ago to the free throw line, he bricked 2 in a row that were horrible. Then he hit one on an on and one last time at the free throw line, and now let's see if he can hit this one. That would be a really nice, he hits it. So his last 3 free throws have just all been panty shots. 86-79, Ole Miss is in real trouble here. I think they're cooked. And Dillon plays that 3 perfectly, throws it out for Janai, who's going to just do a simple little Bob Corzine dunk, and Dave Corzine, excuse me. And get it up to 88. That's going to be a wrap, guys. That is a massive W, I think. Auburn just staying away from Ole Miss, saying we're not going to foul you. You're going to have to put all these buckets in if you want to do this. They do hit a 3 there. They get it to 88-82 with 27 seconds to go. Panty shots, Dark Side. That's what we used to say when you hit a shot and it literally wouldn't hit anything but the net. Just goes like that, That's what we used to call that back in the day. We're going to go ahead and put them in the danger zone.
Danger zone. This is your redheads, your strippers, anyone named Tiffany. This is where your car gets keyed, you get a bunny in the pot, your tires get slashed, and you wind up in jail.
All right, so Dillon is the one who is going to be taking these free throws. He's probably not the guy you want on the line at this point, but he hit his first one confidently. And let's see if he can hit the second one. That would be huge for Dillon to be able to hit 2. And he hits them. Look at that. Pretty. Gets it up to 90. Ole Miss doesn't like giving up 90. They're not going to be satisfied with that. There's going to be a lot of stuff that Ole Miss is not going to be satisfied with today. Let's see if if Ole Miss has given up 90 this year. They have not. No, they haven't. They gave up 85 in an overtime loss. An overtime win. The most they've given up this season would be 85 to BYU, but that was in overtime. And they also gave up 81 to Mississippi State a couple weeks ago. Gave up 84 in that one. And they gave up 83 to Missouri. So this is definitely a gouge situation for Ole Miss, and they're going to look back on this and say, damn, that's bad. I guess that's his version of the get back coach right there, huh? Listen, man, Ole Miss has played good, dude. I would not, if I was an Ole Miss fan, I wouldn't feel particularly stung by this one. I mean, you give up 91, or actually it's going to be 92, I guess, in your own gym. Probably not fired up about that. Why do I have it as 90? 91, I don't know. What are we doing here? Are we negotiating free throws? Coach Ian Border says, what are we doing? Let's get this game going. Oh, CJ says, Chris Beard got a technical LOL. Not the first case of abuse with him. Uh-oh. I'm giving you an applause, not for the abuse, but for the actual comment. That was good. That was pretty clever. I got a text from one of my friends. I don't want to say who it was. It said Beard looked like he was ready to choke the ref. Uh-oh. Ruh-roh. I know where you're going with that one. All right, so Miles Kelly is like, yes, I will absolutely. I'd be happy to take these free throws for you guys. And hits another one to get it to 92. And Auburn's still going to have possession, although I don't think that Pearl's going to try to rub this one in. I got a super chat coming through from MC Tigger. This is F. Yeah, great road win within the SIP. I'm going to give applause for that one. Absolutely. I thought Auburn was going to lose this game. I did. Not today. I mean, not as we were watching it, but coming into the game, I thought this was a situation where Auburn was really this is a tough situation. Ole Miss plays great at home. Ole Miss has a very good defense. And they did some things to Auburn today that had made Auburn have to get a little creative attacking-wise, but they got it done. And credit them big time, Auburn, for finding a way. Cass DP jumps in with a super chat as well. Says, not even the ghost of Kermit Davis could derail the Janai Express. Any chance of a Neil McCready post-game call? Let's give that one a laugh. And that is going to be a wrap on this game. 92-82 in favor of the Auburn Tigers. Miles Kelly doing a little Miles Kelly dance. That looked like Chuck Galena at the scorer's table. I believe it was. Chuck, now a resident of Memphis, Tennessee, and maybe he comes down and helps with the Ole Miss games. Former Auburn basketball publicist and all-around good guy. Long-term Auburn basketball publicist. 13-game win streak for the Auburn Tigers. Thank you, Cassidy P, both for the super chats and also for being a great part of the chat. MC Tigger, of course, as well. Been with us the whole game, and we love having you over here, bro. Thank you so much. Also, let's see, Cleveland Brown. This is LFG 13 straight wins. Another quad one win. Duke fans can suck it. Well, we'll definitely get behind that. Wardam Eagle, he finishes it off with. That's great. Guys, this is a big ass. I think that's a big ass W right there. Of course, it's quad one. Honestly, with the way Auburn plays basketball this year, quad ones don't even really mean much anymore, do they? I mean, seriously, I think Auburn's +3 on the entire ACC now as far as quality wins. So, it's just getting almost humorous at this point. Don Properdicken coming across the Atlantic for this one. This is now time for girls we want to ... respect. Of course. Maybe we can get to that tonight or today. Yeah, I think we can do that. Gals we adore. Don Properdicken style. Gotta have everybody just have their shout out of their favorites. We used to do that during COVID, didn't we? Stu Pup says best SEC win of the year. We'll give that an applause. Thank you, Stu Pup, for being here. And also big ups to your son for, I'm sure, what sounded like a great speech. I hope it was about the threat of AI and why NVIDIA is going to make us all a bunch of money if we just put our money into it. Colby says, now we transform into Georgia fans for the evening. War Eagle. I don't think I can do that. I can't do that. But I appreciate you being able to do that. I've got a permanent hate on for Georgia, Duke, and Louisville. Can't get over it. And pretty much Tennessee, too. Alabama, I actually don't hate as much as some. I don't like them. But if you live over here and your friends are Bammers, you just kind of have to deal with it sometimes. But I don't have to deal with the Georgia bullshit. Cassidy P jumps in to say Ja'Kai just gave Wes F. a wet willy and handshake line. I'd say his penance has been served and expect minutes to increase. I wish that story were true. Ja'Kai, of all people. Ravin, who started us off with a super chat. And he's back in again, says our team showed great composure to get that win. Absolutely. Do we have a soundbite for that? I don't know if we do. If we do, I'm going to get back with you. Here, we'll just give him one of these Roy Mercer ones.
And how big a boy are you?
Well, it don't make no difference. Just bring her on down. You're tough as hell on this phone.
That's what he's saying. You're tough as hell on these stats, Ole Miss. No, I'm just kidding. I thought they played good, man. I thought Ole Miss played a pretty good game. You score 82 on Auburn, and you feel like you've done some good stuff, you know? But the problem is that Auburn scored 92 on a day where Janai really, it didn't feel like he was, you know, like at his best. Now, let me get some hot, fresh stats here because the stats that are on my screen right now don't include the last 3 minutes, and that is an incomplete snapshot of what happened on the floor this afternoon at the Pavilion, because that's a big W for Auburn, a big fat W, a really good win. Stu Pup thinks that's Auburn's best SEC win. Could be debatable, or maybe it could not be. Maybe we can just debate that here. Some other ones, the Tennessee game was huge. I think the win against Missouri is looking better and better every day. Missouri is playing great right now. And also, the win against Mississippi State. Mississippi State is pretty good ball club as well, and that was a very authoritative win. Of course, it was at Neville Arena, which maybe takes some of the, a little bit of the luster off it in a way, because accomplishing this on the road, what you saw today, is pretty damn big. Janai Broom, here I am talking about it. Didn't seem like he had a great day. He finishes with 20 points on 7 of 14, which is not awful. 2 of 2 from three-point range, 12 boards, 4 assists, 2 blocks. Stat stuffer day. For a guy, looks like he's fully rehabilitated from his ankle injury. He had a couple plays, I guess, there where maybe he didn't jump as high as maybe you'd think, but think of him as a high flyer anyway. Excuse me, guys. I got to get something to drink there. Chad had 6 points at halftime, finishes with 18. A much better half for him. And Dylan finishes with a double-double, 10 points and 13 boards. 4 assists and no turnovers for Dylan Cardwell, guys. 4 of 5 at the line. I know CJ Majors is fired up about that. Like how John D. referred to Broom's game as a backdoor 20-point game. That's fair to say. You kind of watch it, and it seemed like he was just kind of floundering, but, the stats don't suggest that. I don't know. Maybe it was because he had that long run where he didn't have any points in the second half. But, yeah, he finishes this thing off pretty strongly. Chad, again, great in the second half, or very good in the second half. Denver, I think the story there is we just like him better as a slashing and rhythm shooting 2, more than we do as a 1. That means that if he's going to do that, Tahad's going to have to play a lot of point guard. Played 24 minutes tonight, and Denver played 35. But the reality is that Auburn has different guys that can trigger the offense. It doesn't have to be a point guard. For a lot of teams it does, but for Auburn it doesn't have to be that way. And Janai can actually trigger offensive machinations. Chad can too. You could even see Miles Kelly do a little bit of that. I think he ran a couple today. Real Deal's in the house. What up, G? Coming in from Madison, Alabama. Or are you Huntsville? I can't remember which one. I don't remember if you've actually declared. Patrick P wants to know, is Broom a backdoor man? Spicy Pieces J, does Auburn have a chance of hiring Todd Golden away from Florida? Their program is so much more storied, so I don't see it. Interesting question. I don't know if this is the right time to be thinking about Todd Golden as BP's replacement, even though Todd Golden was exonerated from the stalking situation just recently. I think there might still be a little bit of, a little negative buzz over that, a little stigma. I don't know. I think he's a hell of a coach, though, and I like him personally. And I think he'd be a fine guy to take over the program. I don't know if he would go from Florida to Auburn when BP retires, but that might be a question of how long it would be before BP retires. Right now, I don't know if that'd be the right choice, but I don't know. Chip says want to extend an invite to all Swoogans and Drainers to Orange Beach, Alabama Bunker Bash on April 26th. DM me on the bunker to RSVP. Conveniently, Chip's handle on the bunker is Chip. That's right. So we're going to be doing the Orange Beach Throwdown Showdown, like he said, on April 26th at his pad. Well, at his family's, you know what I mean, down in Orange Beach. This is going to be, I believe, the third or fourth year that we've done it. And it's a good time had by all. We drink a lot of bourbon. We eat a lot of incredible food. The rumor is that I am Papa McNasty and Mama McNasty are going to be there cooking on their smoky grill. And I'm not a rib guy. And the ribs that Mama and Papa McNasty made last year were so good that I am now a rib guy. The problem is that I don't think I can find ribs that good hardly anywhere outside of Kansas. But we shall see, I guess. The next ribs I'm going to eat are going to be Papa McNasty's on April 26th. So looking forward to that. And I will definitely be there. Administrative assistant will definitely be there. Chip will definitely be there. And I'm sure a cavalcade of Bunker Stars will be there, including Raven, who I believe is going to be there as well, and Mrs. Raven. So we're fired up. I should just say Mrs. Raven sounds weird. We'll just say Raven's wife will be there, who, if you guys have been to these before, know how much of a treasure she is. Chip just says legit ribs 100%. That is the shortest way to describe how great Papa McNasty's ribs were. Sam H says the starters had a hell of a stat line today. 50% from three is pretty solid. Yeah, solid is pretty good. 14 of 28 from three for the Auburn Tigers. 18 of 23 from the line that's great too. And Auburn was really good late, right? Let's see. Janai missed those free throws maybe 2 minutes to go, and I think Auburn was perfect after that. So really good way to finish out the game. There was some bemoaning during the game about the disparity of free throw attempts, which finished at plus 12 for Ole Miss. But again, I would just say that I don't think Auburn was attacking the rim as much as they could have today. And I thought that was something that Ole Miss really accentuated later in the game, and that was what yielded the free throws. I thought it was a strategic move by Chris Beard, and I thought it was a good one. He had problems. He needed to find a way to score more points, and he said, go to the rack. Real Deal jumps in with a super chat with a super chat. He says, another win, another drain with JG. It's a great time to be an Auburn basketball fan. War Eagle, and then War Eagle emoji. It is a great time to be an Auburn basketball fan. Hell, it's just always a great time to be an Auburn fan. Good things happen at Auburn. Football team may not be shitty next year. Men's golf looks really good. Equestrian, of course, doing what they always do. And men's basketball, potentially a national championship team. Patrick P. says he's got a soundbite for Todd Golden. I'm not sure I agree with this, but I feel obligated to play it just for him.
I want to wrestle you so freaking bad. I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC.
Melee says impressive win from a shaky first half. It was a kind of a shaky, although they were up 7. But Janai hit a 3 there right at the buzzer to kind of push that out a little bit. It was going to be 4, but that's kind of how it works with a 3-point shot, isn't it? Up and down, I would say, first half, and up and down second half. But, man, they finished strongly. Donnie, my man, he's not out of his element with this one. He says, I doubt Bruce retires until he starts looking exhausted like Barnes does in a lot of the Tennessee games. I got to believe Rick Barnes is older than him. I don't know that, though, but I know what you're talking about. Because Rick Barnes was so animated earlier in his career, just like 10 years ago. And now he's more muted, I would say. I just don't know if BP's the kind of guy. I'm not sitting here trying to speculate on if BP's going to retire. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just saying he's not the kind of guy that's going to go to the bitter end. Because I think he just lives life and enjoys life. So we'll see. I think he loves having a team this good, though. I'll tell you that. And if the legislation goes through that Diego Pavia is kind of pushing, I think a lot of this team can come back. I mean, Janai's not coming back, Simo's not coming back, and Dylan's not coming back. But everybody else in this roster potentially could be back next year. And if that were true, holy shit. Like, you'd only need a couple really key transfers, and you'd be Gucci. And they could just re-rack it. I mean, you still have Tahad. You still have Denver being used properly. I don't know about Miles Kelly, but I think he could be back too. I mean, shit, you still have a good team. He definitely is going to have an opportunity to be back because he played in JUCO. And Denver played in JUCO too. So, wait, did Denver play in JUCO? I think he did. So anyway, yeah, there's a lot of these guys can come back. Ephesians ask about the schedule, and we can definitely take a look at that. Let's go ahead and cut that one up. Let's go ahead and cut it up. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that. Ken Palm has already added this W to the schedule. So I'm going to go ahead and put this down. Yeah, I think I can get the whole schedule on there, actually. Let me just a quick look at the Ken Palm stats. They have moved Auburn back up to number 1. Ken Palm they've got Auburn number 1 at 20-1. They've got Houston 2, Duke Blue Devils at 3. Tennessee actually moved up to 4 with its thrashing of the Florida Gators today, and then Florida's number 5. But what we came here to see, and what Ephesians had asked me to do, is to look at the schedule, and I shall do that right now. This is Auburn's schedule. I'll just move this up a little bit higher so we can kind of focus on what we want to see here. Already got that win against Ole Miss on the board. Got Oklahoma midweek. I believe that's a late game on Tuesday. I think that's an 8 p.m. game. So you olds like me better get your nap time in so we can go late on that one. Florida at home a week from today. That is going to be an absolute barn burner right there. Florida's a good team. Now, they got curb stomped today at Tennessee. I think they lost. I didn't see the finish, but I think they lost by 15-17, something like that. But they're still really good, and they're going to look to save face after that loss. The game at Vanderbilt, I mean, Vanderbilt's not awesome, but they're good at home. And then you got to go to the airplane hangar on the 15th. And, I mean, guys, I cannot believe Ken Palm's got Auburn as a 61% chance to win that game. Now, look, Auburn's undefeated in the SEC, and this is a very difficult league to be undefeated in, so I get it. But, man, Alabama's a good ball club, and they show a lot of the same things that Auburn does. They just come at you for the full 40, and they've got some good attackers. They're probably better at point guard than Auburn is. I mean, not many people I'd say that about, but because I love Tahad, but Mark Sears is really good. I don't give a shit about Aiden Holloway, but anyway, I'm just sitting here rambling a little bit. Chip says, per ESPN and Ken Palm, Duke can win the national championship with a W against North Carolina tonight. My man, nobody loves a UNC Duke game more than ESPN. Even if they're trash, they'll find a way to turn this into the Super Bowl of all time, and it's just, whatever. I know that they're basketball royalty and all that crap, but North Carolina is literally dog water this year, and Duke is good, but let's see. Bego says Alabama will probably be Auburn's first loss. I thought Auburn was going to lose this game today. It shows you what I know. I think Ken Palm still has Auburn losing. You don't see it on there, but I think they have Auburn losing 3 in the league. Let me see if that has changed. No, they've changed it now. Ken Palm's, even though Ken Palm has Auburn winning every game, the algorithm has Auburn finishing 28-3 and 16-2 in the league. It doesn't say which game they would lose because they're actually predicting Auburn to win all the games. So that's an interesting situation right there. Kevin B jumps in to say, boys stepped up repeatedly when they needed to. You're so right. I think there were 4 times tonight where Ole Miss got within 1 or 2 there in the second half, and each time Auburn pushed it back out. Denver, I think, twice hit big threes. Chad Bacon-Lasagna had his back-to-back threes to push it out, and then Janai did some stuff on the other one. And that's what great teams do, right? They sense the need for a push, and they get it. And Auburn, every time Auburn needed a push today, they got it. Denver played really well, I think, after that opening session. He was very turnover prone and just looked overwhelmed there in that first segment of the game, but I thought played great after that. Ephesians is not excited at all about playing at Vandy. I understand that. To beat Kentucky and Tennessee back-to-back at home is tough, but they did it. They're a much different team on the road, but this game's going to be in Memorial Gym. But listen, there's a lot of work to be done before that game. You still got Oklahoma at home, and you just got to put them away. You feel like Auburn should win that one, and then Florida. I don't know, guys. Florida's Ken Palm's got Auburn. It's a 77% chance to win that game, but they're good. Cassidy B says, our quad one wins good. Our quad one wins any good, asking for a friend. His friend must be a Louisville fan. Kevin wants to know, how is Broom's ankle? I mean, I don't have any reason to believe I would say he's probably 80 to 85% right now. Something in that line, unless you know something I don't about, like after the game, or he tripped on a cheerleader's ankle or fell off when he was hanging with the Huzz. I don't know. Cassidy P says his ankle may be sore from his dong smacking against it. I don't know about that.
I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC.
How about that? So it's still some Florida. That Florida game is a potential slip. At Alabama is a potential slip. At Kentucky is always a problem. Auburn hasn't won there since '88. I know we talk about that all the time. And at Texas A&M is kind of an undercover tough one, But to me, it reminds me of playing at Ole Miss. I mean, Texas A&M is one of those teams that's pretty good everywhere they play, but they're usually very good at home. And Ole Miss played well today. I just thought Auburn played better, and Auburn just responded every time they needed to. I think BP is going to be very proud privately of getting 92 points inside that arena. Listen, Ole Miss is a good defensive team, and this hadn't happened. I mean, they haven't given up 90 this year. The closest they've given up, 92, and they gave up 85 early in the year in an overtime game. So and Auburn just tore them up. I mean, let's just be real about it. I did admire the way that Padula played for Ole Miss, and just generally how Ole Miss was willing to kind of play rough there in the second half and just go to the rack and say, let's just get it done. So I thought they played scrappy and hard, and if I was an Ole Miss fan, I would be encouraged both by what this team can do and what Chris Beard is doing in a general sense. But Auburn is just on a little bit of a different level right now still. I mean, Auburn's the number one team in the country. And I think they're not a paper tiger situation. They didn't just happen to kind of jet up there and they're just going to hold on until they get beat. I mean, this team's got a lot of stuff. They've got shooters, they've got drivers, they've got a ball handler, they've got multiple guys who can run the offense, who can trigger the offense. They've got, a big bad boy in Dylan. They've got an operator in the post with Janai. They've got Turtle who can do some things. I mean, they've just got a little bit of everything, and that's why, Ole Miss and LSU and Tennessee are looking at this going, God dang, this is a tough task right here. There he is. Feel like a stranger says, War Damn Eagle, are the phone lines open? They are not, but I can make them open briefly. We haven't really been taking calls on the basketball shows this year, but I don't see why we can't. It says, update required. This version of Skype is out of date. Visit the Google Play or Apple Store to get the latest version of Skype. You dirty, dirty dogs. Why do you do me this way? I can try to update it, yeah. Why not? And then I go to update it, and it's on the list of apps that need to be updated. I'll have to work on that next time. I'll leave this open, though, so I remember. Terrible. Kevin B says, Paper Tiger, more like Titanium Tiger. I'll give that an applause for sure. I'm glad you asked, Feel Like a Stranger. I will get that rectified before we get into our next show. Although the next show, we have to do some nighttime calls. Daniel D asks, Eagles or Chiefs? There is no situation ever that I would pull for the Chiefs. So it's going to be the Eagles for me, brother. Steve states, I'm worried about Broom's health down the stretch. I mean, the good news about that is that when Broom was out, both with the shoulder injury, which is a short-term thing, and then the ankle injury, which is a little bit longer, Auburn still played good basketball and found a way to win. Now, I don't know that you would want Auburn going against the best teams in the league, Florida, Alabama, Kentucky, Tennessee, without Janai. You wouldn't want that, but they've shown that they can overcome a lot even without him. And I do think Spicy P, I don't know if he is still here. Spicy P thinks that Auburn should be doing some serious barnstorming to try to get Janai, that National Player of the Year. And I mean, I don't necessarily agree with that position, but I do agree with the idea that, I mean, this is Auburn's best chance ever at having a National Player of the Year, and you might as well do what you can to kind of capture that attention, right? Because I think Janai's the best player in the country. I think he's the most valuable player in the country, right? I mean, I don't think he's going to be this great NBA player the way that some of the guys in college basketball will be, but if you're talking about the value he brings to his own team, which is really what me and Spicy P are talking about anyway, then he's number one. And Ken Palm agrees on that. I feel like a stranger, not to be beleaguered by our lack of update on this. Boo updates. We came in Yo Trap and took over Yo Trap. Zepp had a great game. Let's give him a laugh on that. The people who love to equate, and it does not feel like a stranger. He's mocking the people who do that, who equate Zepp Jasper, who was a fine player but couldn't score, to Denver Jones, who just had a very nice day offensively against the Ole Miss Rebels. 16 points on 5 of 11 shooting, 4 of 7 from three-point range, 4 assists, 4 turnovers, yuck, 1 steal, and he was ±8 in 35 minutes, a team-high 35 minutes, by the way. The next highest point tally was Janai. So, I mean, that's 4 minutes more. That's a whole shift more than the next highest guy. So he played a lot of minutes, and he scored a lot and did a lot of things good for Auburn. He played a great game. Let's be real about it. We ought to do our grades, our kind of off-the-cuff grades for the Auburn Tigers from this one. And, yeah, let's say Denver, just awful opening to the game, but, came back and hit some buckets, two key runs that kind of kept Ole Miss at bay in the second half. I'd probably give him a B+ today, honestly. And if he hadn't had that, I don't even know if it's his fault, really, that he's not getting a higher grade, because if he would be playing that two guard, that slashing two guard, or shooting through two guard, whatever, just not an on-the-ball one, I think he would have had a great first segment, and then he would have been an A+ today. So let's give him a B+. Janai, just for grinding it out, man, and being such a factor in this game, I'd still give him an A, even though it wasn't his best game. Chad Bacon, the Zanya, I'd probably give him a D- for the first half and a B+ for the second half, so we'll split the difference and give him a C+. But I feel like he was better than that. So maybe I give him a B-. Miles Kelly hit some big shots, man. 3 of 6 from three-point range, 15 points on 4 of 8, which is great. 1 rebound for a wing is not great. 1 assist, no turnovers, whatever. 23 minutes. Probably give him a B, straight B. Dylan, I thought was an A. I don't care what the stats say. 10 points and 13 boards. 4 assists and 0 turnovers. I give him an A+. That is as good a game as Dylan Cardwell can give you. Straight up. No turnovers and 4 assists. Plus he hit his free throws. Plus he scored 10. Plus he grabbed 13 rebounds. Amazing. Tahad, his numbers just don't really do him justice as to how valuable he is. He's an auger. He's a guy who sparks things. You guys see it. You know that the numbers don't necessarily mean everything for Tahad. It's about how quick he is and how about he gets shit going, right? So 9 points on 3 of 7 shooting, 1 board, 5 assists, 3 turnovers. I'd still give him an A, even though the turnovers bother me. Simo, 11 minutes, 0 points. He just kind of does what he does. Turtle was in there for, I think, 2 shifts, 2 points. Whatever. And then Shaney was a non-factor today. 15 minutes, 2 points, 3 boards. I barely remember him being in the game, honestly. 3 fouls, I don't know. D. But he wasn't, they didn't need him today. It would have been nice to have him. Let's see. Chip says overall team grade B equals a 10-point SEC Road W. Difficult to understand how good that is. Yeah. I'd probably say Auburn I would give him a B+ in general, because I think this is a big-ass win. I do. I think it's tough, man. I think it's tough to go over to Ole Miss, and they're going to catch some people. They already have. Goose Flat, what's up, brother? Glad to have you here. Says JGT, let's say we don't win the SEC tournament, but the regular season championship, what do you think our seeding will be in the tournament? Boy, at that point, I think if you win the SEC, and let's say Auburn finishes in conference play at 15-3 and wins the regular season title, I think they're going to go and be a number one seed regardless of what happens in the tournament. The NCAA Tournament Selection Committee routinely asserts its position that the postseason, well, they don't say it out loud, but the seeding shows that they don't really give a shit what happens in the conference tournaments unless you are in a bubble team and you win it. You know what I mean? Or something like 1s and 0s happens. If Green Bay, which is like 2-17 right now, if they were to win their conference tournament, well, they get in. So that changes it. But for a team like Auburn or Duke or Illinois or Houston, you know, if you lose in the first round or you lose in the second round of your conference tournament after being the conference champion, it doesn't matter. You get what you get. So I think Auburn at that point, if they won the SEC outright, they will be a number one seed, and that's just the way it's going to be. Stu Pup says, math changing win. You gained a game on the field today. Idge. Absolutely idge. Ravin says coaching was good today. Let's not undermine that. I agree with that. We said it a few times early in the game that Auburn doesn't get outfoxed very much, and I didn't think they did today either. I did think that Coach Chris Beard did a nice job. I think he maximized his team situation as far as scoring, but not enough. Not enough. Kevin B says, I agree on Chaney, but I think one of his buckets came at a crucial time when the game was close. I don't remember that one, but I'm not saying you're wrong. I just don't remember it. It's hard for me to run the show and remember everything. It's tough. But I appreciate the input there. Matt says, hit that like button with some enthusiasm. War damn Eagle. I like that. Goose Flat says, I seriously think Alabama lost last year on purpose to get the rest. That's interesting. And they had a great run, right? So it worked out great for them. I don't know what we're going to do about Chaney. I mean, just going to keep running him out there and play. I mean, he deserves it. He has great games at times. But, man, it does feel like he's just kind of a little bit out of it. And, you know, I felt like he started the season a little bit out of it. And then him and Janai kind of came to an understanding of how they were going to play together. And then they both heated up. Of course, Janai is always hot, but you know what I mean? I thought that Chaney became a really nice complementary piece to Janai. But I wonder in situations where Dylan has a game like he did today, which I thought was just a tremendous game, probably his best game since the Vanderbilt game last year. 10 and 13 for him is just insanely good, plus the 4 assists and no turnovers. I think it takes away some opportunities for Chaney in a way, even though they're different kinds of players. But when Dylan's playing that well, you want to stick with him. And only 2 fouls. No, 3 fouls for Dylan. He used to not be able to make 10 minutes in a game without fouling out. He's come so far, man. So far. All right, so the next Auburn game is going to be Tuesday night against the Oklahoma Sooners. I believe, I'm 99% sure that is a late game, an 8 o'clock Central tip. T-Park jumps in with a super chat to say, I'm definitely trying to hit Orange Beach. We would love to have you, bro, and anybody else that comes in your entourage. Hope you bring one of your hypercars down with us. It could be a McLaren. Could be an Ariel Atom. Could be a Lamborghini Murcielago. He's got a lot of choices, guys. A lot of choices. Yeah, Kevin mocking Ole Miss for maybe giving Dylan Cardwell too many opportunities at the free throw line, thinking that would be a good play, which statistically it was a right call, but anyway. All right, Cassidy P says 12 minutes to post for the Holy Bull Stakes. Got to bounce. Much love, Drainers. Appreciate you, Cassidy P. I'm not far behind you, and I may try to watch that race myself, assuming it's on what I call TVG. I know it's got a new name now, FanDuel TV. Chip says, I caught Dylan mugging for the cameras after his F1. Nice gif. We need to get that made, for sure. We definitely need to get that made. All right, guys, listen, it's a beautiful afternoon here in Lower Alabama. I guess I'm in Central. No, I'm in Lower Alabama. Chips in the lowest Alabama. But anyway. And I want to probably go out and enjoy this, walk around the neighborhood a little bit with my wifey and my dog. I wish I could take my cat, but he just gets dragged. He doesn't want to do it. So anyway, huge win for the W. Huge W. Huge win for the W. Great job, Jay. Auburn Tigers, a win over the Ole Miss Rebels, 92-82. Next game's going to be Tuesday night late. We'll be here, of course, live. And until then, we're going to be at auburnsports.com where we talk a lot and chew it up on our great message board called The Bunker. If you're not a member, please consider checking them out. And also, if you're an Ole Miss fan, I always try to be respectful of our road fans if they're watching the show. Check out Rebel Grove over there in the Rivals Network. Neil and Chance the Yapper, and they do a great job over there, even though they hate me. But they do a great job. So check them out, too. Chip says he's going to go clean some fish poo out of my aquarium filter. That's probably the truest thing we've seen from here all day. Anyway, I'll wrap it up there. See you guys Tuesday night. Until then, keep your feet on the ground. Keep reaching for the stars. Make great decisions, and enjoy yourselves. See y'all.